Hello everybody and welcome back. Thank you for joining me. I am Count Christo and this is the wonderful EU5. We are on 1.1, the full public release, and we're going to do an edited campaign as the Ottoman. I know I already did an Ottoman campaign, but we only made like 5 episodes and it was before a lot of the changes hit. 1.1 has made some pretty wildly significant changes to the game, some of which I know, some of which I'm sure I don't. So we will discover them together, which should be fun. Now, I know you're thinking, why isn't there a map, an EU4 themed map just here? Hang on. Fear not, it's still in the room. It's just a different room, so it's over there now. Anyway. I moved, which is part of why I haven't been recording much recently. So, let's play the Ottomans. What's our goal? Our goal is the same as it is every night. Pinky, try to take over the world. So, I started my last Ottoman campaign saying it was going to be a world conquest attempt. We did not get even close to that. So, this time, let's do that again, probably. But my ambition is I want to try and grow as fast as possible. Now, when I say as fast as possible, I suppose that's not what I mean. As fast as is fun. What that means is I'm going to try and stack stuff to reduce antagonism. I'm going to try and figure out... I'm really not in frame properly here, am I? Let me put this all the way over there. Try and stack up antagonism reduction. Try and stack up, therefore, Diplo rep, of course. Trying to stack up integration speed and all of that good stuff. We're probably going to have a bunch of vassals. I am not running my values mod, which means we have vanilla decentralization versus centralization, which is going to be interesting. Will we ever want to switch to centralization? Because in vanilla, can I live with this ridiculous balance where decentralization is just wildly better? It's so much better. It's kind of comical. Yeah, I think I should at least do one campaign where we play with the vanilla values. In my opinion, decentralization the whole values. I'll do a video on it. The whole value system is currently poorly conceived. It should be fine that centralization is better than decentralization because it is. If you are a state, being more centralized is good for the state, and I am a state. C'est le moi. I want to centralize. Anyway. Maybe we'll be absolutist decentralized, which could be kind of interesting. But yeah, we're going to go with vanilla values, which is going to mean having lots of subjects is going to be more easy. Integrating them is going to be slower, but we will, I think, be able to find ways around that. That is one of the things that makes... Yeah, I'm so tempted. Hang on, let me pause the recording and think about this. Yeah, I can't do it. I can't play with this. It's so dumb. Okay. I'm getting into this right at the beginning of the video, apparently. In my opinion, one of the fantastic things about Mayo and taxes is that it captures the sweep of history from decentralized feudal realms to more centralized. Obviously, this is a very, very oversimplified, only refers to some specific nations, but the general sweep of some kind of Western European nations, from feudal nations towards more decentralized feudal nations to more centralized absolutist nations, or in some cases, still somewhat feudal and so on. It's all complicated. What this value does is it makes it hard to be centralized. There's lots of things that make you want to be decentralized. Lots of privileges, all that kind of thing. But you want to be centralized because you are the state and you want crown power and you want proximity speed and you want the speed of incorporating new lands. And all of that makes perfect sense for why a centralized, powerful government would be better at these things. And then you get to loyalty of subjects. And why is it here? It makes no sense. A centralized country may be more efficient, while a decentralized is more resilient. I was going to swear. Nonsense. What do you mean a decentralized country is more resilient? Ah, yes. Capable planning. Well known to reduce resilience. Large projects to, build more irrigation and stuff. We were more resilient when we were This is obviously hyperbole rather, but we were far more resilient when we were just little groups of, 20 people with no food reserves. Anyway, I simply don't think centralization, decentralization should affect subjects in the way that it does, in my opinion. So what I think I'm going to do is mod it so that centralization does nothing to the loyalty of subjects, neither does decentralization. The speed of annexation on centralization is lower to reflect the idea that incorporating a new territory that was previously entirely separate into your state apparatus is kind of harder when you're more centralized. You have essentially a larger state apparatus. And then I'm also going to, because now we have a debuff on centralization, I'm also going to add a state satisfaction equilibrium and a state satisfaction, well, not recovery probably, but a state satisfaction equilibrium negatives to centralization. So this gives plus 5% happiness. This gives, let's say, minus 5% happiness. So that there is still a cost to being centralized, even if there are also other costs associated with the fact that lots of these kind of are difficult and have costs, like curtailing. These all have costs associated. I think that's what I'm going to do, because I just don't like it. I should do a full long campaign trying out the vanilla balance. I know. I'm just not going to, because it seems anti-fun. Because the fun, it's modifier stacking, man. Proximity speed, crown power. And why should I have minus 20 loyalty of subjects? Because I want to try and stack crown power. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anyway. This video is mostly going to be about just playing as the Ottomans, I promise. I'm going to go and make that mod real quick. Okay, there we go. Mod made. So now, oh right, I haven't got my glorp settings the way I like them. Not that one, that one. There we go. So the way that we have it now is that decentralization, as I mentioned, speeds up annexation and the estates are happier. Whereas centralization makes crown power higher, but the estates are less happy. You get the proximity speed, but annexation of subjects is still slower. Because I think the loyalty changes really make this the most crazy. The other thing that we have is that subjects do not push decentralization. Because obviously, I mean, that to me is the worst designed element of that balance, where they basically have just said, oh, you have subjects? Congratulations, you're a decentralized nation. And having two subjects that cover the same land is as decentralized as having one subject that covers the land is... Anyway, I'm going to stop complaining about values and play the game instead. So, what's the plan? Well, Rise of the Turks modifier. Situation will fire in just a moment. I think tomorrow. And we will be able to use that to get CBs and things. Things I'm not going to do this campaign. I have turned off missions. A real campaign, finally. I've officially stopped using the tutorial missions. Let me check. How many hours of gameplay am I in that it took me to get it? Steam, why did you take away the default game overview thing? There it is. 367 hours of play before I stopped using the tutorial missions. They do make the game a little easy, especially in terms of getting values to where you want them to be. Now, this is my first campaign that I have played on 1.1, including in the beta. So I am very excited to try out naval governors. I feel like as the Ottoman, a naval governorship in either Rome or maybe Napoli. Napoli may be better for the... right, and I had to reduce the number of things I had along here, but... yeah, or maybe Genoa. Oh, Venice is pretty good too. Interesting. Maybe a naval governor, like one in Genoa, one here in Cartagena. Cartagena? I really have no idea. I apologize. But yeah, some naval governors will be really good. To get some naval governors... oh, thank God it saved my hotkeys. So I've got caps lock to go back to the default map mode. And I love it. Yes, it saved my hotkeys. Except it made E the alerts menu. Why? This... I find it really funny that Paradox added a way to get rid of alerts here and then added a new alert that you can't get rid of to display the alerts you had hidden. It's like this... You're so close to getting it. So close. Anyway, maybe I'll mod that out too. Obviously you need a button, but you could be way smaller, or, you know, just on a hotkey or in a menu or in the outliner optionally, like it was in EU5 and EU4, which is much better. Anyway, less complaining, more playing. We're going to play as the Ottomans. The objective is grow fast. That's my main objective. Grow fast, experiment with the new stuff. What are the two... Well, there's 2 or 3 massive changes from the last time we played as the Ottomans, and indeed the last time I played at all. One is that legislative efficiency... Where's the best place to see your legislative efficiency? Is that even in any of these tabs? I'm not sure it is. Oh yeah, right. One is complacency, so we need to make sure we have threatening rivals. I don't think that'll be a problem for a while. If it ever gets to the point where it's not possible to avoid complacency ticking up, you and I are going to have a conversation, and Christo may go and mod out a poorly thought out modifier. But I've argued with Johan about that enough for now, so we'll wait until it actually becomes a problem properly in the game. And it's less likely to become a problem because when Johan and I were talking about this, complacency, one of the things that he was incredulous about was that I could grow fast as a player without having a coalition. Because I think having a coalition reduces complacency. He was incredulous that I could not have a coalition while growing quickly. And the way that you do that is you stack up to, I believe the cap is something like 97%, maybe 97.5% antagonism reduction. The way you do that is legislative efficiency plus diplo rep. Now, legislative efficiency, good, I can see it here, no longer affects antagonism. That was my suggestion to Johan, and that's what happened. I don't know that the two things are connected, but, I mean, seems possible, so I'm sorry about that if you'd enjoyed stacking your insane antagonism reduction. But the removal of the efficiency, the legislative efficiency impact on antagonism reduction makes it way harder. And to be clear, I'm not complaining. It was my suggestion, after all, on antagonism gain. So we're going to get a lot more antagonism this game than previous ones. Secondly, your base tax is no longer what affects your costs. It's now based on your economic base. I believe it's based on your economic 75% of your economic base. So we're at, like, if we were to, where is our economic base? Where do you see your economic base? Tax base of the country. No, it isn't, though. They changed this. Tax base is the total amount of wealth that can be affected by taxes. So is this tooltip just wrong now? Because the change that I thought they put into force was that it's no longer based on your tax base. It's based on your economic base. And economic base factored in stuff that you couldn't control. But this says it's based on the tax base plus trades plus sound tolls. So which is it? If I gained a bunch of zero control land, would my tax base increase? Sorry, so my tax base would not increase if I got a bunch of zero control. Forget the impact on like market prices for a second. If I got a bunch of zero control land, my tax base would not increase, but my cost of court would increase. That was my understanding of the change they made. This says that's not the case. Okay. Well, let's assume I'm right and the tooltip's wrong, and maybe I'll look into it. Because I've got to actually start playing this campaign. I spent ages working on modding and theorizing, like, should I make a whole new value? Anyway, I'll look into this later, but I think this tooltip is wrong. I think if we went from having 65 tax base, well, what's the best way to explain this? I think if we went from having 100 tax base with a bunch of 100 control provinces to 200 tax base, and what I'd done is added 1,000 10 control provinces and assume all the provinces are the same value, my cost of court would go up by 10x. It would go to 11x of what it had been before, because it's based on the actual value of the land in your country, not the control adjusted value of your land in the country. Plus it also factors in trades and sound tolls. So I think that will make it way, way harder to economically scale the country, because we are going to be hit a lot with the fact that if we take a bunch of low control land, all our costs will go bananas. Obviously, before, low control land was less good because it gave you less money, and it was kind of inefficient to build in it. But now it's cripplingly bad. Previously, you could max cost of court and diplo spending and stability, and we more or less did a lot of the time in all of our campaigns, and we were just fine, right? That's going to be much, much less the case, which is good. It's good. It's going to mean we're going to need to be we're going to have to be more intentional about the way that we build up our country, and I'm happy about that. But it is going to make it much, much harder. And I think that's good, because the economy situation, at least in my experience, I obviously played rich European nations, so that will bias my experience. But in my experience, the economy was way too easy previously. My understanding is the economic base is 75% of your... I should look it up. I'm sorry. I'll look it up so I can give you the actual answer. Right, as has been pointed out to me, amazingly, this tooltip just lies. This tooltip thankfully tells the truth. Now, I think many Paradox developers are extremely talented people. That's not a joke. I mean that. Someone looked at this tooltip and was like, right, I've changed how this is calculated. Let's update the tooltip for that. And then didn't update this one? The mind boggles, but people have lots of jobs to do, and sometimes they don't do them all perfectly. Fair enough. It's still all good. So we can see that the economic base is derived from your population, just raw from population. Half of your wealth. Wealth is the total value produced in a province. Is it value? How is wealth calculated? Combined, yeah, okay, it is profit. Profit of RGO and buildings from selling their goods to market. There you go. If there are burgers present in the location. Life hack? If you can somehow kill off all the burgers and not make any more, does the province not contribute to wealth despite selling goods locally? Because they can still do local trade, can't they? That could be funny. That's probably not how it works. Anyway, yeah, so it's profit from RGO and buildings. RGOs are buildings. I get that the game doesn't think they are, but doesn't it feel like an RGO is a building? I guess it doesn't contribute to the building cap, but anyway. So the half of your wealth goes towards your economic base, which makes sense. And then wealth from subjects. I wonder what that is. We shall have to have a look once we have a subject. I guess it's probably like 25% of a subject's wealth. That would be kind of harsh. That'd be really harsh. I thought this was going to motivate strong, like lots of subject play, but interesting. It might just motivate not owning some areas outright. I wonder if it's different per subject. Ho-hum. Ho-hum. That's going to be interesting. Okay. Anyway, let's actually unpause this thing. What are we, 15 minutes in from your perspective? Like 18 hours from mine? I did a lot of looking into stuff between starting this video and now. Okay, so we want to centralize. We want to get communalism. We want to do all the normal stuff. I'll get us all set up. Get some cabinet members in there. Right, big decision we need to make. What succession law are we going to use? Fratricide is garbage. I don't know why it's in the game. I guess because some people like historical flavor even when it's like strictly bad for your campaign. Fair enough. We're not going to do that. We probably want to try messing around with matrilineal non-exclusive again. It's frustrating. Ultragenitor is what? Youngest or something? No, oldest. Based around having one heir. The eldest son of the royal family may mean instability. Members of the dynasty are in the succession, so you lose some legitimacy on succession. You only lose 5 on this one. The problem with this is it's possible that a different family could inherit. And the other problem is there are very few female members of this dynasty right now that are of... Why is that happening? I guess this is the maximum zoom in possible. Oh, no, okay. I think my mouse might be broken. Don't blame that one on the game. There's not very many women in our dynasty right now. We've got Fatima Selçuk. Is that how you spell Seljuk in Turkish? I don't know. It looks like Selçuk to me. If you go matrilineal non-exclusive, the game doesn't tell you this, but that will cause all marriages in your country, assuming they haven't changed this, but all marriages in the country, not just of the ruler or anything, become matrilineal, as in the mother's line is the one that's passed on. Isn't that how I'm quite ignorant of some things. Isn't that how it works in Islam anyway? Kids are, or is that, am I thinking of Judaism, where kids are kind of, I don't know what the term is, but like formally Jewish if their mother is Jewish? Is that an Islamic thing as well? That doesn't seem likely, because like surely Ottoman's sons were, you know, Otto and all that. I don't know. Anyway, I think we try and do this after getting some more women in the family, basically. So I'm going to try and get all the people in our family married. Also, sorry, let me finish that thought before I move on to another. Also, we want to get all the big kids in our family married, try and have some daughters. Obviously, there's not much we can do to affect that odds, but the more kids we have, the more daughters we'll have. And then we switch. Because the good thing about this succession law is that it prefers people with better stats, and it prefers people who are generals or admirals, which means that we can have an influence on it. We can potentially cause a 100-point swing by removing someone from an admiralship and adding another person to an admiralship. We'll cause a relative 100-point swing, and people who have high stats will be preferred. Now, I believe, I will have to check the stats, but I believe this does prefer, absolutely prefer, the kids of your current ruler. So it will try and give it to a kid of your current ruler, even if there are other people that have higher score. Because when you actually look into the code, it says that. This does not say that, in my view. It's not just this, by the way. It's more intense than that. But I think that only happens if your ruler is a female. I think. Anyway, we're going to get people married. We're going to get the cabinet slots filled. We're going to start thinking about what we might want to do ally-wise. If we could be friendly with the Mamluks, just so they don't join coalitions against us, that would be good. Take a look at the economic situation. Oh yeah, they fixed Janissary barracks, right? I made a bunch of complaints about that. But the Janissary barracks used to not work because they would always just employ RGOs with slaves before they employed buildings. I believe they have fixed that. I believe Janissary barracks also have create demand, which will be good. They create demand for slaves, which means slaves will be imported to provinces which have Janissary barracks, which would be really, really good. If that were the case, once we unlock them, we can investigate. Early economic strategy, by the way, you're not going to be surprised to learn. We're going to just try and develop the capital for now. It's a really nice, Bursa, really nice province. We've got this grasslands, we've got Mediterranean, it's flat, we've got silk. It's not got the best harbor capacity, but it's a pretty damn good province. We're just going to develop this for a while, basically. We might throw in a couple of, like, iron here. Could be relatively profitable, but we'll see. I think a lot of our money early on is going to go into expansion, basically, because just trying to get a handle on some of these Beyliks before they get uppity would be beneficial. And we know that sooner or later, these old Byzantines, who we will refer to as such, specifically to disrespect them, they're going to come knocking at some point. So I'm thinking about values as I get things set up here. As you can tell from the lighting in this room, probably. It's taking me a long time to unpause. We're going to go centralized. I haven't actually looked at these recently. To be clear, the only values that I have changed in this, the mod at the moment, is centralized versus decentralized. Everything else is default. Innovative is better, right? Yeah, 10% match literacy is just so hard to argue with. This does make estates happier, which is nice, but yeah. So we'll go innovative. It's kind of got to be humanist, right? I mean, maybe not. Religion does matter more these days. Don't you have to convert for cause now? I forget. Core. Location of country. Majority. No, it doesn't have to be religious still. So yeah, I feel like humanist is just way more important for that. The other thing is, though, you do get 20 clerics per 1,000 people with humanist. That's a lot of clerics. And Tolerance of the True Faith is nice. But obviously, I need to remember what my keyboard shortcuts were. What did I have? Where's R is religion, okay. I mean, we are going to have a lot of Sunni people in our kingdom. Beylik, our empire. So, Tolerance of the True Faith would be good. But yeah, just the assimilation speed is so impactful. They've heavily nerfed assimilation, I think, from last time I played. So that'll be interesting. But we're probably going to aim... Well... Maybe we should focus on conversion. No, it's because the thing is, if you have to culture convert to core, culture conversion is always going to come out on top because coring is just so important. Then obviously we'll go plutocracy early, or rather we'll probably aim kind of middle early, and then late game probably aristocracy, because you get more nobles. You get, what is it, 10 nobles per 1,000 there and 100 burghers. How much stuff do nobles demand per pop? Is there a way for me to see that? I'm building a royal garden, by the way, as our first maneuver to get some cheap diplomats for all of the improving relations and spy networks and stuff we're going to need early. Nobles, what are you consuming? Pop needs. How do I see this? Hang on. I can't find exactly how much the pop demand is per burger and per noble. But anyway, we want to go aristocracy later. Or middle, but I think probably aristocracy, because noble power, once you have your state fully reformed, noble power is way easier to keep low than burger power, just because trade income and stuff buffs, mostly because trade income buffs burgers, and because the burger privileges are way, way better than the noble privileges in my experience. Much more likely to want to keep them. So we will go to the middle-ish. We will break the aristocracy, and then we will go towards aristocracy, getting these extra nobles so that we can have more, them creating more demand in the market, but it's low priority. We're going to go free subjects. Free subjects just seems really, really good. Especially now serfdom lowers... Oh, I thought serfdom lowered enfranchisement. Where's my enfranchisement? Have I accidentally modded that out of the game? Let me take a real quick look at this text file here. Excuse me, I don't want to read your release notes. Visual Studio. Enfranchisement. Global peasant enfranchisement minus 30%. Yes, I have accidentally modded out peasant enfranchisement effects on this. 1 second. All right, there we go. Good. Glad I noticed that relatively early. That's that undone. Oh, nice. Our reloading has caused our crown power to recalculate based on the people we put in cabinet. Cool. Anyway, so going back to this, there are changes. Spiritualist still gives those pops, but I think plutocracy doesn't anymore. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so without, I mean, this is now much, much worse. 2% expected cost of court down is nice, and it gets better as the game goes on because you get other cost of court reductions, and because this is a negative additive modifier, they kind of stack pretty nicely. But yeah, now we don't have to worry about whether nobles or burghers demand more stuff. You just go aristocracy. But yeah, so now this gives us that minus 33% peasant enfranchisement, but does give us 50% more levy recovery. Meanwhile, this gives us the 33% plus 33% peasant enfranchisement, which is something I haven't played with yet, but I think I get how it works. There's a similar stat in, somewhat similar stat anyway, in mayor and taxes. You'll be unsurprised to learn. So this is about how much money goes to the commoners and nobility. Now, when it says the rest is transferred to nobility, oh, we have 100% here. Wow. Because it's a city. Oh, because high control increases it. That's right. And the Ottoman government's good for it. Nice. This is important because it's easier to tax. Usually, it's easier to tax the peasants than the nobles. Meaning, we want the commoners to have more money. Plus, I assume, and I don't know if this is the case, but I assume it's similar to Victoria 3 in that, you know, if you want to have more demand and more pops who are kind of healthy and growing, although is meeting their demands relevant for their growth rate? I'm not sure it is. But anyway, yeah, generally speaking, we want to have the commoners to have more money. So we will be going that way. Conciliatory is essentially non-optional, in my opinion, if we're trying to grow as fast as possible, because yes, you miss out on the 10% war score cost, but the 4 Diplo rep is 16% less antagonism, something like that. And the efficiency of cabinet is also lovely. This doesn't matter. None of this matters. The CB creation speed thing is minor. It matters a little, but very little. Nothing matters here except the war score cost, really. So yeah, we'll try and go conciliatory. It might be a bit difficult, just because we have some things that will naturally tick belligerent. They've nerfed this, right? 10% possible frontage. What did it used to be? 25, I think. 10% possible frontage is still wildly better than this. Just wildly better. So we'll be going quantity. We probably want to go offensive. The army movement speed is nice. The fort defense drop is annoying, but not that bad. We're not going to declare many wars without CBs. So yeah, we'll try and push offensive probably. And it's got to be naval. Naval is just so much better. This is a 20% reduction in the proximity cost. Proximity base 20, so actually usually better than 20% reduction in the proximity cost of provinces we have full maritime presence, which is bonkers. For comparison, land gives you a 20% speed bonus, which is way, way worse than a 20% cost reduction. Massively worse, because obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but you know, if you're starting at 100, right, and you get a minus 20% and then another minus 20% on top of that, you've gone down to 60. Huge change. You go from 100 and you put 2 plus 20% modifiers on, you're up to 140. Run the maths. It's much better to go down. And also, as you add more and more, they get more and more and more impactful. So, land, yeah, we're not going land. Not least because Navy allows us to get an extra governor, whereas land doesn't, which is something that they should. There are mods that fix that, but that is silly. There should be more reason to go land, I think. Now, trad economy versus capital economy. I've seen interesting debates about this, but I really feel like capital economy wins and wins hard. The main scaler in this game is building buildings. Buildings, you know, literally create goods, but they also create employment, and employment creates higher tier pops, which creates more demand for goods. So it's all about building buildings, and capital economy means you can build, you know, whatever. More, not quite 20% more buildings than if you were full trad economy. Just because minus 10% cost versus plus 10% cost is a massive swing. And that's before you even get into the production efficiency, which is also nice. Of course, we push communalism. Indeed, I've got our councillor. He is 56, so he'll die relatively soon, but we need this for the privilege cost, which is, of course, extremely important, and we will be moving towards that as much as we can. Once we have all of the privileges where we want them to be, we still won't push individualism. I think, yeah, morale, fine, but this 2.5% satisfaction, I think I would take over all of these positive modifiers combined. Now, migration speed is nice, but generally speaking, and I haven't played into the late game, but generally speaking, I feel like I get enough migration to keep up with the level that I'm building my cities, so we'll see. Jurisprudence is way better. This, it gives you research speed, this gives you research speed, and efficiency of cabinet is lovely. This also gives you research speed, but then these are much less important. 10% pop conversion, it's not huge. That's the plan on values for this run. Will he unpause before he hits the 1 hour mark? Let's find out. I've just noticed that this talks about tax base and trades and sound tolls, but that's actually wrong too. So trade doesn't increase this. Interesting. So trade is nerfed because it's less profitable these days. They've increased the cost to move lots of goods and things, but this is a buff to trade. That's a nice way to buff trade. I like that. Right, some privilege shuffling, and the estates are really mad. It would probably have been better to have done that quite a lot slower. But we are getting 0.8 communalism now, which is pretty good. So we can go all the way up to 80%. This guy is appeasing estates, just going to get the burgers to, you know, chill out a little bit, which will be good. But yes, we might get some early rebellions. That's okay. What happened to my army? Just shrank by 250. That's weird. Anyway, our legitimacy has gone down by quite a bit because we gave out all those privileges, but now we've got some really nice communalism ticking. Is there any more? Is there just one more change I could make on that? Would be nice. Social contract policy. Yeah, good. So we will, oh, sorry, enact. I thought I said end for some reason. Where's my current negative ticking coming from? Elaborate court life. That's right. We definitely want to replace that. Oh, sorry, that's a privilege. I thought that was, I was thinking about the law, because we definitely want that great harem law. Where is it? We're on secluded harem right now, which is pretty nice, but the powerful harem is superb. So I think we will do that. Allowing women in cabinet is great. More conciliatory is nice. More crown power. Obviously, it hurts to have the noble satisfaction down, but we'll manage. So yeah, very unhappy estates. Probably a bad idea to go so hard on that early. Also, of course, grabbing Diplo traditions. Love, love, love that Diplo rep. Now, do we wait for harbor administration is one question. And I think the answer has to be no. It's going to take a while before we get harbor administration. So let's grab something else first. And I think I've just been talking about how much I want to get capital economy, but it's not an urgent thing. And we're currently very much towards traditional. So let's be just okay with that for now and throw in a feudal ability to cheer up the nobles and makes our subjects more loyal. It means we can tax them more in the fullness of time. So sure, get that feudal ability established. They're going to 60% now. Once this is fully established, it'll be 65. We can tax them more. Should be good. Can't tax them almost at all. Oof. Oof. Because of their estate power. Their power will drop. We have granted some more privileges to the other estates, which will change it. And obviously, we're going to, once we have communism, we'll start revoking. Okay. Anything else I have to do before unpausing? Yes, some rivals. So I'm not going to game on rivals. I'm not going to say, like, let's not rival Byzantines and Naples out of the gate on the basis that it might encourage them to ally with each other and make the game harder. I'm going to try and just kind of rival who it seems to make sense to rival. Oh, wow. Having this spreadsheet open. Wow. On my second monitor makes that much of a difference to my face looks like. That's funny. Okie doke. I think we're pretty much ready to unpause. Get some kids married. I've got the auto education mod, by the way. There's a fork that makes it compatible with 1.1. So that's good. Yeah, just get some people married and we're off to the races. Okay, this might very much be a mistake, but we got 6 legitimacy. And the reason is that I just got my 3 sons to marry 4 lowborns each. The idea is they have a bunch of daughters. Then we switch the law such that the family goes via the line of daughters. Then we get all those daughters and our other daughters, Fatima and Selçuk here, and we get them both married off. Only once we've changed the law such that their kids will be of our dynasty. That's the plan there, and yeah, we definitely need the extra legitimacy. We should probably bump cost of court spending a little. It hurts estate equilibrium, but that doesn't really matter because everyone's way below the equilibrium, apart from the Alima, who I need to give more privileges, but I can't do it right now because the nobles are so mad at us. Oh, I completely forgot about coups, man. That's not great. So we have a 1% chance to get this every month. We're raising our legitimacy by 1.6. Yeah, we have to stay above 30. I forgot about that. We're raising it by 1.6 each month. So we've got a, I mean, I'm not going to run the maths, but we've got a reasonably high chance that this fires. It'd be an interesting start to the campaign. Damn. And that guy did die immediately. That's unfortunate, which means we lost our promote head of cabinet. Damn. I should have just taken it, played it safe, given it to someone else. Right, and I forgot we get the legacy of Osman reform, which is a really, really, really good one with an interestingly bugged tooltip. But yeah, +1 cabinet seats, and it counts as +1 government reform, so that's nice. And we get less antiquitism. Very, 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 very good modifier. So I've just seen a video talking about this. Minting doesn't affect this cost or this cost. That's crazy. It's 10% of economic base. Is it actually? This tooltip is wrong, presumably. Or maybe stability is actually based on economic base, but cost of core isn't. Good grief. Anyway, inflation increases all prices paid in ducats by our country. That's what it says. But this does not say that. Let's see on the monthly tick. 7.31. That's what it says. Oh, I can't unpause during this event? Okay. I need to check what this gives us a the fact that we currently have, where do you see it? Yeah, the fact that our court languages currently, this gives us common languages, court language, 5% peasant and influence. If I were to manually change it to this, what modifier would that give us? Is there just no modifier? What's the advantage of having Greek? I don't currently see any impact on satisfaction from it not being Greek. So this seems like a bad idea. Dhimmi bureaucrats. I kind of like the humanist. I don't want to buff the Dhimmi power too much though, because I want to tax them a bunch. 5 for 50% is not a very good deal. I've saved. I'm going to try this and see if it gives us a new modifier. So we now have no language. The language of pleading. Ah, right, because our court language differs from our other one. So we can have... Okay, this is 2.5% less peasant satisfaction, but we can get some free subjects out of it. Or we can get some noble, but yeah, I think this is probably where we'd want to go. Costs some cash. Okay, but then the fact that I have that court language... There we go. Court language is the capital's market language. Interesting. It doesn't really seem... Who cares about the court power? It's the noble satisfaction is affected by... Sorry, not power. Isn't their satisfaction affected by power of the court language? They like the enemies are a threat. No? What does court language... What does this even matter then? I mean, it's currently the capital market capital language, but it won't be once we take Byzantium, right? Maybe it will. What determines your trade language? I don't know. I think we should probably stay with the old one. Keep the well, no, having it be different just so that we can get the language of pleading law does seem quite good because it lets us get that extra free subjects in there. Cultural tradition doesn't matter. But yeah, so 2.5% less. Yeah, okay, I think we'll keep it like this. Go Greek. Did hurt our stability yet again. Oh god, and another crisis. It's a really bad idea to do everything so fast at the beginning, but oh well. Yeah, I don't think this is increasing based on inflation. So we're going to mint a bunch to try and give us a nice head start at the beginning, because it's going to let us do things like this. Let's get a claim on Biga and go after these guys. They've got the Canarids and Ahis. Yeah, we can take them. We could definitely take them. Who would you get on a full call? Lots of people. Okay, so we probably don't full call the Canarids. How about you? Some pretty small people, so we full call you. Nice. I think that'll be a good first war. Distract people from our our political turmoil when suddenly the Sultan, well, I guess he's not a Sultan yet, is he? The Beylik woke up and was like, right, sweeping changes. This is interesting. I wonder if this is a visual bug. When I full call these guys, it starts claiming they will join visually. Can I force enemy allies to join wars by doing this? Surely not. Surely not. Be kind of funny. Need a diplomat though. Out of the risk of a coup now. Legitimacy has risen substantially. I'm going to keep it going up, but not as aggressively, so we can get the money rolling in. We are at this war. It didn't force them to join, by the by, in case you were curious. But we do still need our stability positive, so I think maybe I should actually, yeah, I should plow money into this. We just have to get above 0 to avoid the succession crisis. So 1% rolls, not too bad a risk. Seems like a strong start. The allies to the east haven't shown up. An immediate stack wipe. Nice. Oh, a blessed run. Succession crisis still hasn't fired, and we just got the just causes event. 10 years of 20% less antagonism on top of this one, which I believe is 10% less, but I couldn't tell you because the tooltip's bugged. But once we start negotiating a treaty, we'll be able to do it. This, by the way, is why I am playing the game again. They finally fixed the antagonism tooltip, which is nice. So we can actually see in here. If we were to full annex these guys, which I'm pretty sure we are going to do, we will receive, let's take a look here. Byzantium's going to be mad. But if we take a look, we are getting some pretty nice reductions. 50% reduction from Diplo Rep and minus 44 from antagonism received. Very nice. I wish it summed these modifiers for you. But I guess we can just work it out fairly easily. The total antagonism change relative to Byzantium Target location has the same culture. Interesting. It's about the location culture, not the holder culture. Very interesting. Huh. Target location as a different religion group increases it? Surely that's meant to decrease it. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, overall, we're getting about a plus 100%, sorry, plus 50% modifier right now, ish, on antagonism. Obviously, as we increase these values as much as we can, that'll get better. Oh my god, it's 30%. I thought it was 20, so we're going to have to get 50% antagonism reduction right out of the gate for those two. Nice. Very nice indeed. But yeah, we're going to be trying to stack up antagonism reduction just as much as we can. Getting some nice free diplomats. Now we have our royal garden built, which is good. We'll get the, whatever it's called, the royal court built soon as well. And there's some more clerics. Nice, nice. Is there even a difference between fiefdoms and vassals these days? Because it kind of doesn't seem like it. Because the modifiers in here look identical. Am I wrong about that? They look completely identical. And I think it's strength of subjects now, right? Not split between vassals and fiefdoms. Food access is shared. Like, yeah, what is the difference now? Okay, looking at the wiki, it looks like the only difference is I mean, obviously your ruler is the ruler of a fiefdom. I don't think that matters, because I think they've patched the whole parliaments giving stats thing, where you could just have loads of fiefdoms, and then because they all ran their own parliaments, they all gave your monarch stats. That was funny. The wiki says they're one higher level. Don't know what that means. They have lower war score costs, so I guess it's cheaper to take land off a fiefdom. And they get slightly more institution spread. We'll try taking some of each. I assume that there is still the whole kind of you get what am I trying to say here? The power doesn't combine between fiefdoms and vassals, but we'll experiment and find out. Hey, no succession crisis for us. A learned man has cured some people. Let's go. Go away, succession crisis. It can no longer fire. Nice. Okay, so we came through the turmoil, the turmoil of our first few years because of all of our massive sweeping reforms. But we will keep going. As soon as the nobles are happy enough, again, I'm going to keep giving more stuff, probably starting with the burghers. I'm tempted to do control over monetary policy because we already, I mean, what are we? We're currently at 46. We already need to be like 14% lower than where we were taxing them to keep them happy. We can tax them right now just because they're above the opinion. I'm trying to eke all the money I can out of this this situation. Good lord, what happened to our finances? Oh yeah, full paying for the army, of course. But yeah, we're getting our life is not phenomenal in terms of income right now. You know what we should be doing? We should be max taxing the church until they get down to 50% or 53%, which is where we can hold them at the moment. Yeah. Yeah, also this spending is expensive. We should cut this. Well, I still need a bunch of stability. I urgently need stability, but we need a lot of things. Anyway, this war's going well. We're probably going to take quite an aggressive peace deal because it's going to be... Is there a time limit on this? Yeah. Oh, it's until next year. We lack 36. Yeah, I think our tax base has plummeted. Makes sense. That often happens early in the game, I think. Or maybe I did something critically wrong already and it's all doomed. Who knows? So we can end this war now, but I'm going to stick it out till September so I can separate peace because we'll be able to take about 50 ducats off each of them, which is, you know, it's a whole year's net income. So worth waiting for, I think. So I haven't decided what I'm going to mint up to inflation-wise. The fact that we are minting is obviously increasing gold demand, which is a bit of a problem. We don't have much gold in the market right now. I'm pretty sure some is being imported. Is there a bit of sort by what's being imported? I guess just this way. Oh, we're not actually importing any. Where's the gold coming from in this market? Oops. That's not what I meant to do. I should be able to see that, right? Yeah, where's this supply coming from? Oh, there is... Oh, sorry, these are my trades. Yeah. Yeah, not just own trades. I want to see all trades. Yeah, okay, so other people are importing the gold to our market by sending it from some of these guys. Okay. Makes sense. It just means it's getting very quiet. Oh, the whole PC is very quiet. There we go. I can hear stuff again. Good. We're still dealing with the fallout of my pretty radical political reforms the second we hit the throne. I should probably be paying closer attention to some of my kids. I wish this button did anything, by the way. It just clears the filters. I'm an idiot. Clear and set favorited filters. Reset favorite to default filters. So left click. Okay. That should have set favorited filters. Reset favorite to default filters. Clear and set favorited filters. So now I click this, and now that's a favorite. You have to do it here. Oh, I get it. Okay. That's been bugging me for a while. Okay, so now when I go to characters, I can always have it filtered by crown because I only ever care about the crown characters. Nice. So we've had some kids. This is good. Can I sort by age? Come on, game. Why did they put CK2 or CK3 in this game without adding all of the quality of life stuff that CK has spent all this time adding? They're not a child? This person is not a child. Excuse you? Child must be... Okay, they're an infant, but there's no way to filter by infant. I'm remaining calm. Alright, I'll deal with this off camera. Jesus Christ. Anyway, we need to check how many kids have been born. What gender are you? Do babies look... do babies look different depending on their gender? Sounds like a silly question, but... You are a woman. And you're a man. You're a woman. Another woman, please. Yes. Okay, 3 women already. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I think... Oh, hang on. Women can only have one husband, right? Yeah, women can only have one husband. That's a problem. Maybe we don't... Damn, how do I get a good succession law then? Do we become a republic? That would be funny. It would probably ruin some things, but maybe we become a republic. It would be doable. It'd be hard. You have to have more burgher influence than nobility and 80 plutocracy. It'd be kind of fun, right? The Ottoman Republic. What would we lose access to? There's some specific reforms. There's probably a bunch of Ottoman content that requires that you be... Oh, that's good. That requires that you be a monarchy, if I had to guess. You know, I could look it up. Someone made a website where you can look up content quite easily, like by type. So maybe I'll try and look it up and filter it by Ottoman and monarchy. The reason I'm saying this, by the way, is that obviously you want to have lots of members of the Crown Estate to maximize the number of people you have that are good quality for cabinet positions while still being Crown members, and until their death. What? Oh, they have this modifier until their death, I see. We want to have... Sorry, what was I saying? We want to have a lot of members of the Crown Estate, and if only our men can marry multiple people, because if I check, like Fatima... Where's Fatima gone? Oh, of course, she's not in the latest succession. Fatima, hello. We've been getting a lot of pop-ups about people that want to marry her in a royal marriage, by the way. But she can only marry once. Where do you see that? It's under laws, presumably? Social laws? Socioeconomic law? No, it's administrative law. Royal Court Customs. Harem. Is it somewhere in here? Religious law, maybe? Yeah, marriage. Okay. Yeah. So maximum amount of female spouses is 4 and male is 1. Is there any way to get more male spouses? Do any of these allow more? Communal living, which requires... We have to be Hussite. Okay. And you have to have this. That's fun. I should absolutely do that in my Bohemia run. Let's do a communal living run where we just have unspeakable numbers of brides. That sounds great. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, sorry, unspeakable amount of husbands while on matrilineal. Yeah, that's going to be fun. But for now, we kind of have to stay on... Well, do I want ultragenitor? This is the only option? Ultragenitor or... Oh, I don't want... Fratricide gives you loads of bad events. And you... I think you might get better rulers, though. Maybe we'll try Fratricide. You know what we might do? We'll go Fratricide, and then if it sucks, we'll form a republic. So we need greater than 58% burgher, which is just because the nobles have 58. Yeah, so more burgher than noble is what this should say. I understand that it's checking it. The way that these tooltips are made is they check the code and then literally print the code. But it would be more helpful if some of them had flavor text built on top, because it's not true that we need to have greater than 58.96% burgher estate power. It's not possible for it to be required that you have that much, because if you had that much, your nobles would have less than that much, and therefore you would need less. Anyway, 95 plutocracy is the hard one. This is going to be difficult, but we can do it. We can do it. You also need 8 legitimacy and great stability. Yeah, and we can become a republic, which allows 16 succession laws, and then we probably go oligarchic. Yeah, we can probably keep it oligarchic. We unfortunately can't get this, which is the best one, because this lets you pick between 5 in the election. We could actually have 2-year terms if we wanted to. The problem is we obviously have to keep one family in charge, even when we become a one of these. So maybe we become diarchic, but you can't be diarchic. This is exclusive to Genoa, which is one of the reasons I like playing Genoa, is that they get this huge boost for being a member of these dynasties. And I believe, in fact, only these 2 dynasties are valid. Sorry, yeah, this isn't the good one. This is the good one. This one may also be good. But yeah, maybe we become a republic. It would be interesting. We'd lose some privileges and things would all get shuffled around by becoming a republic. But I can't just let the genetic lottery decide who rules our country. It needs a guiding hand, either of me or of a rigged election, are basically the only 2 acceptable outcomes, I think. So we'll see about that. So I've never really looked into rebellions much. This is a really cool system. So they have this many pop support, right? And a huge portion of that comes from these nobles in Izmit and Azapan. Where is that? Can I see... Where can I hover to know where that is? None of these. Can I measure? Can I hover like here? I guess I could just look. It's there. Okay. So we need to get these pops loyal. And the way it works, I like this system. I like this system. It's more... In EU4, there's just percentages of rebel chance, right? It's very binary. Either there's a chance they rebel or they don't. And if there's a chance they rebel, eventually they will, more or less. Obviously, it can be so low that they don't over a very long time. But basically, either an area is rebellious or it isn't. Whereas here, to make them loyal, we've got to get them above 34%, which is going to happen. The satisfaction of these particular guys, these nobles here, is trending towards... Well, actually, is it staying at 30? It is. Okay, we need more loyalty on the nobles to get them above it. But yeah, and then they won't rebel again until they go below 17%. And obviously, as we get more techs and bonuses and things, we can lower the pop drone rebel threshold. But yeah, that's cool. So if we could just get these guys to leave it, basically they'll chill out, because the other numbers here are pretty small. We should be able to get this sorted. We do need to raise legitimacy, of course. Getting rid of individualism will be good too. Wait, hang on. Reasons for pops to support this individualism. Why? Why individual? Are these reasons just wrong? Huh. Legitimacy affects... So it's showing reasons that the estate are unhappy, as opposed to, like, because the specific reason they join the rebels, the only thing that matters is their satisfaction. So why isn't it showing all of these things? I guess because these aren't generic. only this one is generic to all nobles. The rest of these are different because, you know, some places there is a noble, they don't have a temple. Some places they're not Sunni. Interesting. Interesting. But yeah, obviously the main thing we can do is just cheer up the nobles, which we can do. And also, we have our government reforms are in, which means we can see this properly now. 25% speed of integration, holy hell. Monthly control plus 5%. I assume that is a multiplicative modifier on control gain. It's not this, is it? It's change. Sorry, wrong place. Change. It's additive. Holy shit. Is that right? That's insane. That can't be intentional. That cannot be intentional. It's 100 times larger. That's bonkers than the base value. Bloody hell. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's got to be meant to be multiplicative. There's quite a few modifiers that are meant to be multiplicative. I've reported a number of them that have been fixed. I think I'll report that one too. Maybe I'll wait for my campaign to be over before I report it. Anyway, we'll get the rebels under control. We'll get these wars done. It also occurred to me, maybe we could separate peace these guys sooner if they were full and occupied. I assume if they're fully occupied, they don't refuse to peace out, but we'll see. Yes, indeed, we can get them to peace out earlier because we occupy them. Okay, so looking at control, where did I put control? It doesn't show you the hotkeys. That's probably a good thing, actually. Or do I not have a control hotkey? Ah, I do. It's just that it's E. Okay, hang on. There we go. Now that's working. Now, I don't think we want to take this land directly. This is probably the first vassal that we integrate. But I think we do vassalize it early on because we would have less than 50 control in this land. Where's I need to get my where's my hotkey? I need to get my hotkey spreadsheet open so that I remember what I actually set all these at. I have harbor capacity on Shift B. Okay, so Sinop would have pretty good control. You know what I would love? Proximity if you owned it. Now, I know that would only really work for ports. Maybe that would be too difficult to calculate, too heavy. So we should probably take Sinop from these people. The problem is, do I want this as well? Ooh, dies too. Maybe we just take Sinop. The problem is taking Sinop and making them a subject costs more antagonism. Ah, but only just. I think we take Sinop because the dies. This stands to be a profitable RGO. Not much at the moment. Interesting. Maybe we don't bother then. But the thing is, we could. It's a shame this has dies because I'm going to want to build over this. And dies are relatively expensive for. Yeah, I am going to want to build over this though. So maybe I should take this directly so that we can start building a town here. Because we need to have a town here in the fullness of time just because with that much harbour capacity, this obviously has to be a port town to get communication into the rest of this area. But I think we can... I don't think we're in a hurry necessarily to take it. And this is already going to cause, a big problem. So you go on diplomatic endeavours. Giving us an extra... What? 6.9 Diplo rep. Holy hell. And look at that. Hugely reduced, although not in this tooltip. Oh. Oh well. I think on the monthly tick it will recalculate. So maybe you do have to wait for the monthly tick to calculate piecing out these days. I thought you didn't have to. I thought they'd fix that. Or change that, I guess. It's not necessarily a bug. But let's have a look here. On the month... I am cracking down on these rebels, by the way, because I obviously really don't want the rebels to rise up. Yeah, so now it updates. Okay, so you probably do... It depends which tooltip is right. This one, I suspect, is less accurate than this one. But yeah, now that we have that Diplo rep up to an 80% reduction, holy crap, that's so good. So now we have it down to 0%, essentially, effective modification on this, which means that every extra bit of Diplo rep we get above what we have now is going to be more and more and more and more impactful, which is going to be superb. Because previously we were going from 110 to 100, which is a smaller change, relatively speaking, than 100 to 90. I think I've explained that enough times this campaign. Rivals that are a threat, giving us extra Diplo rep. Interesting. I didn't know that. I did not know that at all. Cool. Okay, so this looks good to me. Only the Kuberids are at risk of joining a coalition against us. No, sorry, they're not even. No one is at the moment. We have to try and not get the Aretnids to join a coalition against us. We're going to try and yoink this coastline and this coastline first. And if we can do that without them joining, that would be good. We could humiliate, not really any reason not to. We'd obviously like their money. I don't think there's anything else we want particularly. Nothing that we can afford anyway. Oh, these are free. Do they give us prestige? I don't think so. No. All right. So there's Bestial there. Boom. Give me that money. And now before my tax base updates, I'd like this. Why are requirements not met? Has to be a piece. Okay, fair enough. That's unfortunate because I'm going to have to take some land. Can't do this until next year. So we're obviously going to have to deal with the fact that the Kandarids are very unhappy. They got minus 50 liberty desire from events. I assume that's forcing them to be a subject rather than the humiliate, but maybe it was the humiliate. The liberty desire is 50. Is that right? Or is this just not calculated yet? Because I don't see much in this calculation. So their loyalty would be, God, yeah, not much. I think it hasn't calculated their relative strength yet, because it's obviously just the day we took them. Anyway, now we're just going to yoink. Oh, I should check. It's not ticking more decentral because of the vassal, yeah? Correct. Good. All right, give me all this. Give me all your money. Obviously, nothing else we can do with that to them because they're stopping existing. We can return provinces now. Yeah, they finally added this. Good. So, coalition risk at the end of the day is Byzantium and no one else. Jolly good. Yoink. There's all our money. There's our Bay Fortress. Ooh, offer diplomatic protection. How does this work? We can leverage our position with our neighbors through the marriage of their offspring into our dynasty. We make them the proposal to gift us a location and a royal marriage in exchange for closer diplomatic ties and an alliance. I mean, if we could do this to the Aretnids, hopefully I can back out. Yes, okay, good. And we can only do it to you. I don't want to ally you. I want to own you, I'm afraid. So we're not going to do that. We will raise a Bay Fortress in Bursa, which gives us more crown power. Costs us quite a lot of money, but it gives us some manpower before otherwise we would have any manpower sources. So worth doing. Nice. So now we'll see if we're able to get them under control loyalty-wise. And if we're not, we will need to reassess the situation about how many vassals we can have and what size. Okay, so this might be a little bit difficult for you to read, but I've made a legislative agenda. This is my sheet notes document for EU5. Every time you start a new game, man, you got to make a Google Sheet, keep your notes in there. It's very handy. And what I've just thrown in here is all the laws that I think we want to change. Not that many. 7. Just 7 that I think are worth changing for us in the short-ish term. And I've put them roughly in order of importance. So I think we want to get rid of feudal administration first. 5% efficiency cabinet is nice. Progress centralization is nice. Aristocracy is not great. Don't get me wrong. But I think the centralization, it's more important that we centralize first and then deal with aristocrats, I think, because we need to get our control up in these provinces. Getting off tax farming will be good, partly because we get this centralization, but also, I know this will look a bit weird right now. What is that under? Oh God, I need to fix this mouse, man. Tax farming. Right now, this gives minus 5% satisfaction to all estates. So hang on, let me just check. Is there anything terrible showing in my recommended files? No, that's all good. nothing critical being linked there that I need to edit out. I've just moved house, so as you can imagine, my address is on quite a lot of documents on this computer. Anyway, we're going to do that first because it gives us more centralization and it gives 5% loyalty to all the estates, which is much more valuable than 3% tax efficiency because you can just tax them 5% more, right? I think that's how it works. Because we have, if we increase their loyalty by 5%, yeah, you can add 5% tax, which is worth more than 3% tax efficiency, for sure. Nice. So, we're going to do that one first, because it improves the happiness of our estates. Then I think favor the crown, which takes it away again. But now we're neutral. And by enacting each of those, getting 33% crown power and some more centralization will be good. Then probably admin, system, and harem laws, both of which will annoy the nobles. But hopefully by the time we pass both of those, we've managed to take a privilege or two off the nobles, thereby weakening them, thereby reducing the amount that their power reduces their happiness and how much we can tax them. We're also going to get rid of Sharia law because I think that will let us put women into the cabinet, which will be nice. It does give decentralization though, so we're only going to do that after we've got 100 centralization is the plan, which will be harder than normal, at least normal for me, because we're not using the cheaty missions, which will be good. Then less high priority, these two, which gives us some plutocracy, it gives us some conciliatory, gives us some more tax for the peasants, which is nice. This gives us more ability to tax the burghers by making them happier. Should be good. But that's the priority. This, probably then this, then this, then these, then this. That is our legislative agenda. Let me turn off display capture. Okie doke. Let's get to it. Right now, just beginning the integration of some of this land, getting our first Bay Fortress up, working on reducing antagonism by improving relations with people. Aretinids are our next target on that, because as I mentioned, we are really trying to avoid conflict, or at least coalition, with the Aretinids. How much... This tooltip is... Oh, God. Oh, my... I hate that the tooltips don't lock properly. What is that about? You lock the tooltip. You hover over here. Okay, just don't go too far right, I guess. We still have quite a bit to remove from them in terms of antagonism, but we will get there. So let's see how many laws we can change this parliament. Probably just the one, I suspect. Well, yeah, with only 17%. I also wouldn't mind being more towards traditional economy right now, honestly, because we're not building stuff much. Especially because buildings are affected by inflation. So, yeah, we'll see. Worth mentioning, we probably will go back to ICTA in the long term for the for the capital economy tick, but for now we don't need that. So I think this will be better for us for now. Oh, I forgot about these events. Oh, they're so powerful. I completely forgot about these. These fire a lot, and every time we can either get 5 communalism or 7 stability. Right now we're going to take the stability, but that's going to let us get to 100 communalism really, really easily. We just need a little bit of stability first. We can do a pilgrimage. Does this actually do anything? I can't remember. You get a pilgrimage for a year, which lowers your crown, but then it doesn't actually do anything afterwards, I think. You should get a character trait or something. We'll do it when we're more wealthy and figure out if it does anything. Oh, we could have more kids. We are 60, but we're going to live a bit longer because we're a healthy character. You had many kids yet, by the way? 3, all daughters. So not ideal if we're actually going to try and go to a... Well, maybe that is ideal, actually. Maybe you want your heir to have all daughters so that you're able to have someone who isn't in your direct line inherit, necessarily. We should probably have you married nobleones, but I kind of need the stability. Sorry, the legitimacy. I think I'm going to let legitimacy get to 100, and then we'll just spend it down 5 at a time as we gain it. That seems good. Yeah, so we're not gonna pilgrimage right now. Right, so I cut out a bunch of me complaining because the whole Canarids being so disloyal thing is kind of tilting me because of the way that the centralization mechanic works. So instead of just getting tilted and complaining, do something. There was an idiom. I was trying to invent an idiom yesterday, and there's loads of other similar idioms. What was it? Hang on, let me look. It had a Latin word I had to look up. Res non summa. That's it. Deeds, not stress. Rather than just fretting, do something about it. So what I've done is I have made a values mod. There's a 6-minute highlight video on it on the channel already, if you want to go and take a look at that. But centralization and decentralization are fundamentally changed, and we've added integration and sovereignty. The short version is all the effects on vassals, apart from 10 loyalty, from decentralization and centralization have been removed and put down here instead. So if you go towards sovereignty, you annex slower, but they're more loyal, and you get less subject income. And if you go towards integration, then you annex faster and you get more subject income, but they are less loyal. The only way you can push these is cabinet influencing. Would you believe that you have to change 2 different localization files to make that say cabinet influencing and that say cabinet influencing? And every single time it says cabinet influencing on every single one of these, there's a separate line in localization to generate precisely the same text. Anyway, so what does decentralization do now? More culture capacity, more loyalty of subjects, more stability investment cost, lower stability investment cost, and pops join rebels less, trying to allow you to have a more diverse, more kind of locality-based empire. Centralization, you can force people to be like you faster through pop conversion and assimilation. You get more proximity speed, you get more cabinet efficiency, and you get counter-espionage. Also, decentralization, and I've just realized I didn't say this in the Spotlight video. I should say that, but decentralization gives you access to a reform, which I can't click on here, local capital. So you get one more local governor. The idea is this helps balance the proximity speed that you get from centralization. I think I might try and make it so that you actually get 2 local capitals from decentralization, 1 in the first age, 2 in the 4th age, something like that. You can do that. I don't want to add too many. You can't really add it to here, to the value itself, interestingly, because if I put like 2.2 local capitals in decentralization, as soon as you can get 0.01 from ticking just a tiny bit that way, you can immediately build a new local capital because it just checks if you have any capacity for local capitals free, because all the modifiers, I assume, because all the modifiers in vanilla are integers. There's only plus and minus ones on local governance. In fact, I'm not sure there are any negatives. I think it might just be pluses. But yeah, I don't want to bloat reforms too much. But I've just realized something that I forgot. I need to go and change the mod real quick. This shouldn't count as a government reform. You should be able to add this. It should come with a government reform slot. Let me just do that real quick, because it's balancing out, something that's inherent to centralization. So it shouldn't cost you a reform to get the bonus. There we go. Now, when you want to take this, you don't get penalized. Oh, and I'm in debug mode. Let's turn that off. Jolly good. Okay, back to playing the game. So how does this change the plan? We're going to push sovereignty. And the reason this values pair exists is more or less so that until they rebalance subjects, you can just push sovereignty, get more loyalty of subjects, and not feel quite so much like you're cheating. That's the idea. But yeah, doesn't make any sense for it to be built into decentralization localization, because it's a different question, as exemplified by the fact that none of these pertain to subjects. Basically, like these are all things about internal politics. Anyway, so back to the game. It's been over a day since I recorded the first bit of this campaign while I've been just modding away. Let's see what we can do. Something else that I'm going to do, not urgently, is we should definitely switch to the Arabic language, because firstly, it has a bunch of language power, but it will make our ulima happier. And they're not called ulima, they're called kleros. Cool. I think I can work out the some of the roots of that word. So yeah, we want them to be happier, obviously. Right now we're only at 52 loyalty, which is not ideal. And it's going to get worse as favor the ruler gets applied here. What else could we do? This. Well, we need this, but this is temporary. So we can get rid of that in the fullness of time. I will eventually get rid of this. Even though this 10% unrest is so broken. Unrest is a very funny modifier. It applies to everybody. So these nobles living in Bursa are happier because of Abrahamic communities. Which is quite funny. But it's kind of crazy. That 10% minus unrest is 10% flat. It's that pop satisfaction across the whole country, which, because it's an additive modifier and the thing only goes to 100, is almost always more than 10% relative gain. So it's crazy strong, but we'll see. We need a happy Lima. I'm calling it Lima again. Klerokos. I'll have you say that. Doesn't sound Greek. It sounds Latin. No, I don't know much Greek, to be fair. Okay, so next war. We can't take many more subjects right now. We still need to get our values to where they need to be in order to get subject loyalty. And that's going to take a while, because we've got to push communalism first. Communalism is how we start getting those estates crushed. It's very, very important. So in the meantime, let's take some land that we would be able to get some proximity on without, directly, meaning we don't need to be a vassal. Jamairids and Surahanids. We should take... Woo, I forgot Tab did that. Is that useful? Am I ever going to use this? It's kind of useful for jumping around the map. Maybe I'll keep that bound. Anyway, we're going to take these two out. We can fight them alone. How are they looking army-wise? Not good. Got to make sure we never get stack wiped, because it takes a long time for levies to recover these days. So, I mean, even just taking losses is important to avoid. But let's see if we can yoink these two. I want to try and get as much stuff as we can before the Black Death hits. Is that wise? I guess maybe one argument would be you should wait for the Black Death, basically. Because once the Black Death hits, there's less population to take, so it takes less antagonism. I think that maybe post-Black Death is when we'll try and get roasting and toasting these Byzantines. But for now, let's get these two. Truly a trivial war. They've no forts, so we can bulldoze through them really quickly. It looks like we should be trying to move on south. I want to try and get as much of this as possible before they build forts, because once they build forts, it starts getting slow. We start getting attrition. Oh, perfect timing. Oh no. Oh, I forgot this event. It's my EU4 brain. This event is no longer insanely overpowered. Yeah, no, obviously I'm not going to give you 10 legitimacy. What are you talking about? But yeah, easy war, easy life. I'm going to start a count of how many times this event fires. And it's going to, I suspect it's going to be a high number. And I'm going to keep taking the stability up till like 30 maybe. Because we do need to try and revoke a privilege off the nobles, but the way that we are laying the groundwork for that is first and foremost communalism, and secondly, giving privileges to the other estates, especially the clerics and the burghers. But we also need to give a bunch more to the commoners. Are they actually declining now? They are, yeah. So we're going to need to drop their taxes, sadly. I was just trying to overtax while they were above 50 loyalty. But yeah, I think we're going to try and just give out a bunch of privileges to the non-nobles, obviously focusing on privileges that we want, that push values that we like, etc. And then we should be able to put ourselves in a position, and of course, doing what we can to buff up crown power. Getting a navy will be helpful for that. 25% crown power for your first ship, once you put a crown member in charge of it. And then we will be able to hopefully start looking at revoking some privileges from the nobles. And there we go, looking pretty good on this. Still only Byzantium, who's a valid target. We'll come off appeasing estates for 1 month to do some of that. What was that? What did that say? You're guaranteeing my subjects? Is that what that said? I completely missed it. Where do I see that? Is that on my country? Was it to go to the Diplo screen? Is it a shift right click? Shift left click? Control click? There's something that lets you go straight to the Diplo screen. Shift click when zoomed out. There we go. So what was that? Well, your rival, yeah. Receiving guarantee of vassal independence. The Ottomans have their subjects guaranteed, or we're not going to be annexing the Canarids for a while. We need to get them loyal, which we can. How close are we to that, by the way? You can't see their loyalty from here? You're in a different independence movement. Why can't I see their loyalty from that screen? But yeah, we're getting close. Once we get their opinion up, what is it at right now? 116 goes to 25, I think. Yeah, we're getting close to being able to have them actually be loyal. Once they're loyal, we should put Scootage on, because if we're at war with the Aretinids and they separate peace, that would be really annoying. Nice. I don't think I've ever seen that before. I always give this a go, though. So with relations to Byzantium, it costs us 10 legitimacy, but we get 10% speed of integration, which is good because we've got lots of integrating to do since we can't have too many vassals right now. And we get 0.1 monthly legitimacy, which means, of course, this pays itself back in 100 months, which is less than 10 years. So it does pay itself off. And the integration speed is pretty nice. Good stuff. So on proximity, it's not superb. We do have proximity to these two cities, though, at least some. So we are going to what level of control here? No, it's actually still at 0. The average satisfaction is not great. Yeah, so we need roads, basically, in order to be able to do this. It's going to cost a large amount of money. But getting this road, I think, is probably our first road building priority. We'll try and do it during a road building parliament, so it's a bit cheaper. And then we need a fleet. And how do we get a fleet? We have to have the Renaissance spawn. Where are they again? I forget. There's entry port. There we go. Dock. We need docks. Can't we do it with wolves, though? Is there really no navy in the first era? Can I not build a wharf? No, I can build a wharf. Okay, good. So we can get some ships now. That's my mistake. Let's get going on wharfs. Then these are going to be really useful to us. Obviously, it also gives that harbor capacity, which is really nice. So getting a couple of these down. Obviously, this big chunk of money that we just yoinked off our conquests. These wharfs will definitely help a lot with our proximity. Should be nice. Well, no, this wharf won't. This wharf will help with our proximity. This one we're going to have naval patrols before it's going to do too much for us. Making decent amounts of money, but obviously it's just all minting. I mean, a lot of it anyway. Most of it is minting. But we should be able to get there. We should be able to get there. Obviously, spending a ton on cost of court right now. Maybe that's a bad idea. Maybe I should be spending more on buildings, but I want to get our legitimacy back after our wave of stuff. We are actually able to tax the nobles now, which is nice. Max tax up to 7%. Their power continuing to decline as the other states grow. So now that we're not going to attempt to go matrilineal, I'm going to marry our people to the Mamluks. We'll get prestige out of this. Can I do it again? Oh, no, that took my diplomat, right. I'm going to marry to the Mamluks because we want to try and be friends with them. They're pretty beastly, and we've no prospect of holding any of their land with any degree of control until we have a decent ocean-going navy. It's basically going to be, this is the target first, and then we can start to look at Bulgaria and at the Mamluks in the future. We're up to 3 on the integration thing, by the way, the event. And it has occurred to me that the more provinces we have simultaneously integrating, the higher the odds are that that event fires. So we might want to start trying to just making sure that we have more provinces specifically owned. If we could just take like bits of this. I also think our economy is fine. Like obviously it's entirely unsustainable. If we were to stop our minting, we would be in devastating position, but we could also then just slow down on increasing legitimacy. So it's not the worst. It's not the worst. It's going to make it more and more expensive for us to build buildings, but I think it's worth it to get this early game boost for now. Okay, here's the Age of Renaissance. We have also we have just unlocked the what do you call it? Institution spread growth bonus. So that's nice timing. We will obviously go admin. I should rebalance these at some point, shouldn't I? Because it'd be quite easy to do, like mechanically speaking. These are wildly imbalanced. Admin, I feel like, is almost always the best. I mean, March subjects are fine, but problem with March subjects is they have this strength impact versus overlord 100%, which means they consider 100% of their own strength when reducing their loyalty, which just doesn't seem very good. And they get some discipline, but who cares? I mean, it's just not that good. This is basically irrelevant in my opinion. This is basically irrelevant. This is basically irrelevant. Well, I mean, this is okay, but realistically, I feel like you can dominate nodes without needing it. This is good. That's 8% antagonism reduction. So I do appreciate that. This is good. This is 20% faster. Obviously, it's an additive multiplier, but not so additive multiplicative modifier. So it's not as good as it could be. But this is good. This is 20% faster AE tick down. This doesn't work. This modifier is broken, so don't worry about that. And this is good. This is very good. Don't get me wrong. But on the other hand, 5% max literacy. What does 5% max literacy get you? It gets you monthly research progress. We can see it in here. So average literacy is 9%. We can get 5% research speed from this. That's bonkers. Bonkers. 10% ledge. This is now worthless. So, okay, maybe, you know what? I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing the rest, but diplomacy, better than it used to be. Better than it used to be, because this is now completely worthless. This is okay. That's really not bad. What would 1% be for us particularly right now? Well, we're doing approximately 10%. So that's a 10% reduction. You know, it's a ducat a month. Obviously, it's an increasing number. It's okay. This doesn't matter. I feel like I don't find myself using loans. I don't like loans. They hurt your crown power. Also, I'm certain that there are some situations where it's really beneficial to use loans. I just don't like them. Purely just from an enjoyment perspective. Now this, I hear mercenaries are really good right now. And there's a patch coming in like 4 or 5 days that's going to make them and regulars way weaker. But until then, this is potentially really good, as is this, because right now mercs are good. But like, come on, what are you talking about, game? You're gonna give me 10% proc speed? This is better than everything in here put together. I'm not kidding. 10% proximity speed is insane. This is absolutely absurd. You could hold way more land way more efficiently with way less money lost, with way more money going into your coffers, with way better ratio between income and expenses. Like this is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. If I was balancing it, I would cut this to 2.5%, and it would still be a really good modifier. Stab investment flat 0.02. It's okay. It's okay. It's not superb, but it's pretty good. I mean, that's not worth nearly as much money as court accounting, is it? But it's nice to have. It's definitely nice to have. There's what. So this is another problem. This needs balancing. This is broken good. This is, you have to take admin. Okay, I forgot. Currently you have to take admin. Why isn't this in military? For goodness sake, this is obviously a military thing. But yeah, Deus Vult is broken powerful. This is why you don't, if you play in the right part of the world and you pick the right religion, you just don't have to use Parliament CBs ever. We're not going to use Parliament CBs hardly at all. We're going to be able to get all of Anatolia with our special CB. Basically, what Parliament CB is going to help us with? But Mamluks, basically, but you can just get vassals and follow through on threat when you need to there. This is basically go nuts, declare war like it's EU4. So this is insanely strong. I haven't investigated pirates much. We do have quite a few pirates because we have no fleet, so we'll need to look into that. But yeah, Deus Vult plus local infrastructure beats all of this put together. Easy money. Even though this is a nice modifier, this is a nice modifier. These are bonkers. So yeah, it's obviously admin. Let's take a look at military. I'm pretty sure all the military ones are bad. Like, this is fine. It's fine. What does 1% tolerance actually get you, by the way? Let's have a look. I believe there must be some Orthodox people around. So there are tolerated culture, Greek view, tolerance of orthodoxy is currently minus 20%. And we have a tolerance of heretics of, sorry, they're heathens of 4. So it's 5% unrest per point, specifically on heathens and heretics. So 5% unrest, this is basically. That's not bad. Because unrest, remember, is just satisfaction. That's a good modifier. This is meaningless. This is meaningless. You don't get enough army tradition from battles for this to be meaningful. You don't get enough prestige from battles for this to be meaningful, in my opinion. Cav power 10%. It was better when Cav were better. I'm not sure I'm really qualified to speak to how good that is. It's nice. This is good. This is very good, but it's very early good, because later it's going to be about professional armies. So this will be better on the patch next week, which is, I mean, this video will almost certainly come out after that patch, by the way. This is the patch where right now mercenaries and levies are doing 100% more damage to mercenaries, and professionals are doing 100% more damage to levies than they should be doing. Just one of those classic kind of bugs that you get after 3 months of beta, 6 months post-release. Non-culture levy size, I don't think it's that relevant, because places that aren't your culture are likely to be further from the core of your country, which means you can have low control, which means you probably get bad levies anyway. Levy size, it's nice. Again, it's only nice early, whereas lots of these modifiers are just as valuable throughout the whole game. Naval, doesn't matter. Boarding parties, it's not that important. Winning at sea, I find it really easy. Obviously, I play big countries because I like having power, being able to make moves, but I don't think that's any good, really. That's certainly worthless. So yeah, it's just the tolerance, the cav power, and then a bit of boosts to levies from this and this. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but as in, I think, all ages that I've really played much of, military is worst. So we'll go admin. Now, the first Age of Renaissance, it does immediately unlock stuff, doesn't it? Yeah, so we want scholarly treaties, we want improved relations, we want loyalty of subjects. This stuff is very, very nice. We want this. I like the tech tree. I think the tech tree is well designed. The bonuses are where they're really, like, we need these bonuses right now. Being able to grant privileges while hurting our, I assume this means both costs. Maybe it doesn't, actually. I was assuming that meant cost in terms of damage to other estate satisfaction. Oh, damn, I can't hover here. Maybe it's just this cost. in which case that doesn't really matter. It's 0.5. 0.5 legitimacy per privileges is not that important. I would like this. An extra % melting threshold is good. So I think I will wait for that to go. Plus, it means we can, if we have unemployed slaves, we can turn them into more productive members of society, which would be good. But yeah, then we definitely want this for the revoke privilege and the embrace. And then probably straight down to noble satisfaction so that we can take privileges off them more quickly. Because that is, I mean, people disagree. And they're wrong. But to me, breaking the nobles is the #1 priority of the campaign. It's number one, top of the list, numero uno. It's so important. Crown power is a bonkers modifier, and you can't have crown power till you break the nobles. So we'll grab that, and then... yeah, I mean, local, this is just so good. It's so good. Plus, we get some subject opinions, which is nice. Yeah... I think we'll grab that. Now, max RGO size. Yeah, so maybe this is worthless. This is worthless because I never declare them. There are situations where it's good, but I think for us right now, it's not that important. This will be nice, but again, we don't have the money to make it urgent, I would say. Obviously, we want Deus Volt, but again, it's not that urgent because it's basically, this is only useful to us once we finish the Anatolia, the Rise of the Turks thing. Yeah, I'm not crazy about any of this. I want to get to this, but I think we will take the legitimacy. And some noble stuff is nice. And then we probably should go for this sooner, right? Yeah. Let's get this. Plus prosperity recovery. Prosperity is now a floating number rather than just trending up to infinite. Changing policy cost does not matter. Ooh, that's 2.5% here. Yeah, that's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Give me that. This we will never research. And then integration. It's only 5% though. Give me the stability. Wow, it's not that good, is it? But let's go like this for now. Oh, you know, I should make sure. I do not want to be researching anything that is Asian specific because we're not going to be Asian for very long. Yeah, so we're not going to get these. This is because we're in Asia. That's an interesting icon to use. Okay, let's just show all special icons. Get that. Fair enough. So have I put anything else in here? Yeah, like we're not going to be able to get these, I think, sadly. But there are some special European ones which are good. I can't get this. 5% monthly research speed lost just because we're not near the technological prowess of China and the ancient literature of India. That's a shame. Can we have this? Oh, we can't. Can't have this either. All right. Well, let's let these finish, and then we'll review the situation. Actually, that means we probably don't want this or this earlier on. Well, let's let those finish, and then we'll be reassessing the situation. Like, what's his name? Fagin. That's right. Reassessing the situation like my boy Fagin. All right. Can we be a kingdom yet, by the way? We need only another 500k people, but we do need another million Turks before we can do this. And a million, 600,000. No, sorry. A million Muslims, 600,000 Turks. Okie doke. So I mean, is there any urgency to becoming a kingdom? Not really. Nothing here is particularly useful, to be honest. We get 0.5 culture capacity. That's it, more or less. Yeah, that's the only thing of here of any worth. It's empire where it gets really, really important. So I'm just slowly giving out privileges, trying not to annoy the nobles too much. I'm also trying to keep in mind we want to call a parliament in 20 months. So we need to try and get noble loyalty happier. Because the higher noble loyalty is, the more their agenda impact is, and the more chance... What's this? Smallpox, that's a shame. The more support we're able to get from them to try and get 2 laws passed in one parliament, which we didn't manage last time, not even close. So we'll see. We'll see if that's going to be possible this time. So I mentioned about prosperity, by the way. So the way it works now is that there is decay. What is it? 1%? Okay, cool. So every 0.01% of prosperity bonus you get means you get 1 extra percent of prosperity. Now, is there such thing as a difference between prosperity recovery and just prosperity gain? I think there is. So it's not quite as... Got to keep in mind which one you're getting, I guess. One thing I'm not doing, by the way, that I would normally be doing is building a bunch of trade capacity. Part of it is because we're making 1.25. We get 0.25 of the trade. So we're making 0.5 profit per capacity. And then remember, so 0.5, but actually we're going to get 25% of that. So much, much less. So really, they're not that profitable anymore until we get our... Obviously, it's still valuable to give money to the estates, but yeah, not as much. So the other reason that we want to try and make the nobles happier is the happier people are, the better buildings they invest in. They invest in stuff that's good for the country rather than just good for them. The thing I'm saving up for right now is just the royal court. Oh, we can afford it. Nice. Looks like the price of sign came down. Yeah, price of fine cloths absolutely tanked. Excellent. Let's get that built. Gives us every little bit of crown power, especially early on. So important. Oh yes, right. And we have our wharf now. Yes. Yes, I think we do. So give me a ship. It's going to take 20 ducats to get it built. We're getting some sailors. What is the upkeep on a galley? I can't not tell you. Okay, it's -0. I suspect that's rounding, but we'll be able to afford it. Good. We'll get some galleys. That's another 25% crown power. Very nice. So I'm looking at wars, and there has just been a crusade. The crusade's just ended. Whoa, look at that. Papal States got balkanized. I think we're going to go with Caramanids and these guys all at once. And maybe these guys as well. And these guys. I think this is the war. We call them, and we call them. And it gets a little big, but these people do not have very many men. And the thing is, we have a professional corps. A pretty high quality professional corps. That gets the enemy stack wiped. And there's no forts in this area. Like this whole region has no forts. There'll be 1 fort against us in this war. So I think what we do is we full annex a lot of this area, and then we release a subject here. Maybe just a subject here, not here. But we should keep small subjects because it's faster to annex smaller subjects. But yeah, we full annex it. Maybe not full annex. Karamis, you can keep this bit, but we make a big subject. We make a subject here. Make a subject here. We take the city, so we can put a what do you call it? A bay fortress in it. We subjugate you. Sorry, well, no, we annex this area and then we release it as another subject alongside the Kandarids. I think this works. And you know what? We do not need to do that anymore. And probably don't need to do this anymore. Well, no, because we're going to take quite a lot in this war. I really don't want the thing is, I really don't want Bulgaria to join a coalition against us. Ah, we don't have the... Damn, we don't have the diplomats to declare war right now. Right, and I was just saving money for being able to do this press claims, but we do need to keep getting our stuff up. Yeah, I think that's the play. But yeah, we really don't want Bulgaria to join the coalition once we go against the Byzantines. Is the issue there? Oh, let me complain for a second. Not really, but Genoa, you lucky beggar. They got Renaissance in Genoa and banking right next to it. That's crazy. We're trading for Renaissance, by the way, and later it'll be for banking. It's costing us some money. We're losing money on trades rather than making money on trades right now. But I think it's worth it. Try and crank the Renaissance over here as soon as we can get it. And yeah, but also banking, of course. See what I mean about professionals right now? Stack wiped while outnumbered. We have the combined arms bonus because we have a nice mix of light and heavy plus cav. Let's try not to get any of our little stacks caught out here. But yeah, these guys, yeah, they chickening out. They are indeed. In fact, they're just going to go stand there and get stack wiped too. Any pros? No pros. No luck. I'm afraid it's going to be, well, okay, not as much of a stomp, actually, to be fair, but sent them packing, which is the main thing. What are you doing? That seems extremely ill-advised. I should have put general in there sooner, obviously, but oh well. Should be an easy war. Our professionals are absolutely shredding them, and we have the numbers anyway. The difficulty is going to be these sieges, but yeah, it's a pretty big war, this. Basically the war for Anatolia. This is the battle we'll go down in the history books. That was a close one. But glorious Sahi here managed to drive them off. What's that trait he's got? It's like oh, it's a dog. He's goal-oriented. Hell yeah. He drove them off. He drove them off. He managed to hold the siege. And now they're going to be very much on the back foot. We've broken all of their armies, at least once, I would say. So they're really in trouble now. And we're going to be able to take all of this land from an aggressive expansion perspective. So this is the only person that we're taking land from who was not a co-belligerent. Not a co-belligerent because I think we had a truce with them. So we should have... Oh no, they are a co-belligerant? Who was the non-co-belligerent? Huh. Well, anyway. There's one of our peace deals. There's another. We've got the diplomatic rep. 21 diplo rep. Holy heck. So we're getting this vast reduction. They should combine these, by the way, obviously. It doesn't tell you where you're taking anymore. It used to tell you which was for each province, but look at that. 86% reduction from that and 53 from this. We're still rocking that just causes temporary modifier. Now is the time to go ham. We are, yeah, I mean, we're in a position to take truly vast swathes of land and spit it out into vassals. Maybe we will take all of the Camerates. Holy heck, we can. Oh, this is a good war, man. It's a very good war. It's going to cause problems, of course. You know, our finances are going to get worse until we release vassals here and stuff. But once we release it out as vassals, as long as we can just keep them somewhat loyal, I think we'll be okay. We might have to do some serious diplomatic spending, though. But that's okay, because we're about to get the legitimacy up. This is an interesting one. I don't remember this. We get, for 15 years, we get 0.2 centralization and 0.2 innovative. 15 years is a long time. We could make something happen in 15 years on centralization, potentially. Because where are we at on centralization right now? Yeah, neutral. Yeah, I mean, that's good. Honestly, I think early decentralization might be better. But I think we're going to go centralization anyway. I think the proc speed is very difficult to argue with, but I'm quite pleased with myself because I feel like this is close. Obviously, the innovative is way better. And this puts us close to being able to continue to push innovative. The literacy from that is great, but I would also love the 15% loyalty because this is going to mean that we could get them doing some stuff in our next parliament. But for now, sure, we lose some cultural tradition. Literally doesn't matter in the slightest. Classic Byzantine things. There's their revolt. We could get a claim on them this December and yoink some land off them pretty easily, especially if they're still, you know, battling it out against this revolt. They've got a 30-year-old woman in charge? Interesting. That seems like the nobles would not like it in my experience. Also, I didn't realize we don't actually need all three of these things. You just need one of them. So we are going to be able to form an empire off the back of this war by not taking all of this country and this country and humiliating both of them. We're going to be able to do some good stuff. We do need to wrap this war up. The food situation is becoming seriously problematic. That will help. That will certainly help. But yeah, we need to get our levies stood down. Can you stand down here? Those all do go back, right? Oh, there was an exclamation point. What did that exclamation point say? No, it just makes us lose. And I don't think we did lose any. Like, they still exist, right? Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. So we should be in a good position to peace out here. So you can have those mountains, and we will humiliate you. You're not quite ready to accept it. You will be in just a second. Siege Whisperer. Show me a siege. Oh. Didn't really matter whether it fired right then, but you love the Siege Whisperer. All right, we have clay. Oh, here's just a little livestock up here. Cool. So we will let them keep this province so that we can humiliate them. It kind of really is a humiliation, isn't it? Being left with just one province. I'm gonna wait for these auto things to go, and then we can win this war, release some subjects, become a kingdom, which does, I mean, it does give us culture capacity, which is, you know, it's nice to have. We, obviously, it's costing us a ton to have Greek right now. Ottoman, I mean, we are going to integrate them. They've made it so that being tolerated slows acceptance, right? Or is it maybe it's the next tier up that does that. Nice. There's our minting threshold. So yeah, we are going to need to stop minting so aggressively soon, but you know, we're going ham. We're trying to make some moves. So we need to go for it early. I think it was worth waiting a little bit just to get this. Oh yes, and you give me that diplomatic endeavors. I don't know of an elegant way that they could do it, but the diplo rep you get specifically from improving diplomatic reputation from the cabinet probably shouldn't apply. Maybe it should like slowly increase over a year or something like that. So it has to actually put a cabinet member. Because right now I can do this, make sure I am humiliating, yes, and then I can take him off, and he never actually had to do it at all. There was no period in which he was actually doing it. So it's a bit silly, really, but I could also just stop doing it, which is usually my advice to people when they complain about exploits. Why use them? So, yoink. Right, sorry. I need you for this as well. Yoink. And what are we looking at here? People that can join the coalition. Byzantium, Karamanids, you, Epirus. Trebizond can just join. Okay, so we might get a bit of a coalition here, but I'm not scared. You scared? I'm not scared. And now, give me kingdom. Excuse me? Oh, it costs 300 ducats. That's so annoying. So our prestige is going to decay down. All right. Never mind. Turns out I do like debt. We need to do this now because we're not going to get an opportunity to do it in the future. And I do want the cultural capacity. Damn, that's going to take some time to pay that down. But there we go. We are a kingdom. We get some more prestige. We get some artists. Oh, big difference. Get some great power modifier. Which is kind of bad. I don't really want to be a great power. I can get another rival. That's useful. We need someone who is a worthy rival. What should I sort by? War enemies, opinion. There's no way to sort by strength, really? We're not rivaled with the Byzantines? Oh no, we are. That's what this means. The knights. We need someone who's kind of significant. I mean, I guess Hungary is probably the only. I'm seeing lots of people who are not a threat. Not a threat. Golden Horde are not a threat. Well, sure. I'll rival Hungary. Because I want to be. I want to have threatening rivals. It's good for us. Oh yeah, and we got a dock off an event, which forced us to go to state piracy if we wanted the dock. So we're just going to go to state piracy and then go off it again because I'm not interested in using privateers. I don't think. Never really. I mean, maybe I should try it out, but yeah. Right now we give away a bunch of land to subjects, and then we're looking good. But that was pretty explosive growth, I got to say, from 262,000 to 2.6 million in 8 years. Not bad. Not bad. And our share of primary culture has actually gone up. It's about to go down. I'm about to give a bunch of land away. But we'll see how we can do on getting subjects to be loyal without the penalty from them having been, forced into being a subject. We probably could get them loyal and maybe just a little bit of diplo spending, but it's unfortunate. This interest, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I think it's worth it to get the kingdom title, become sultanate. So this is going to be interesting. I'm giving away all this land. Let me take a screenshot. Here's the economic situation at the start. Because obviously we have virtually no control over all this land. Well, we kind of do this month, but next month we won't. So let's get to next month so this control goes away. Because I want to know what the actual kind of before and after looks like of this. We have some diplomats free. But yeah, we're probably going to give away basically everywhere we don't have proximity. Or maybe we allow, like... I need to stop saying like, by the way. I'm trying to improve my diction somewhat. We give away everything except... everything one tile away from where we have some degree of proximity, I think. And we may keep... Are there any coastal cities? There aren't. There's a town, but I don't think that's worth keeping. But we keep this city because we can build we can build there. And we might want to keep this province so we can start building up a town there. We shall see. We shall see. But on the monthly tick, that proximity goes away. Tax base spikes. Ooh, we do actually have some proximity on this city. Nice. Yeah, okay, so we have a bit of proximity, but... And then this is 7 because what? Because it's a city, right? City gives plus 20? Control? Like base max control? No, just 10. Okay, cool. But right, there's the temple for the other 5. Nice. Okay, so we're going to give away a bunch, but this is our tax situation before giving it away, and I feel like it's going to get worse once I give away the land. But let me go and do that, and we'll see. While I do this, I had completely forgotten that fiefdoms just get a flat +10 loyalty. That's crazy. That's crazy good. Nice. Okay, that's going to make our life. It's going to make our lives somewhat easier. Now we can just about keep very weak people loyal without having to do too much Diplo spending. Okay, I think this is the new normal. So we've kept, as I said, everywhere that we have a little bit of control, a little bit of proximity, plus a tiny bit. I've also kept the cities. So we kept Konya. We have some degree of control here, even with no proximity. And if we put a, what's it called? Bay Fortress? Is that what they're called? Yeah, Bay Fortress here. That will be good. We've also kept some adjacency giving land. So, for example, we should now be able to attack the Byzantine Empire. We can still get CBs on the Arachnids, on Cilia, Ye Old. This is the first Crusader state, right? Presumably it's not continuous from then to now, but this is where the first Crusader state was set up, I believe. We can get adjacency on this guy, so we should be able to get all the CBs. Now, the question is, well, first off, what did that do to our economy? And secondly, how loyal are these guys going to be? I made mostly fiefdoms, but a couple of vassals. The fiefdoms are more loyal, but if we make too many of one type, then the relative power will start to cause us problems. So let's wait till the end of the month. We really need to stop minting is the other thing. I don't want our inflation to get too much higher because we are now going to get to the point where I feel like we've made our big plays early. We've bought a huge amount of legitimacy, just a huge amount of legitimacy. And that took a huge amount of money to make that happen. So I think that was worth it. But now we need to see what happens. And obviously, yeah, we have some free trading capacity right now, but we won't, I think, once the month ticks over and it's like, oh, you've lost all that land. So we'll see how this goes. And then the other thing is, obviously, we have a lot of diplomats to spend. We need some excuse me, you can't right click here. We need some loyalty. Why can't I, can I do it? Where can I do it? Here? There we go. We need to start improving relations with a bunch of these guys so that we can try and get them all nice and loyal. And in 1 month, we're ready for war again with the Byzantines, who are, yeah, very much ripe for an attack because of their noble revolt. Don't really have the money for it right now. Let's get some Diplo spending going. We need to buy some more. Ugh, it's gonna be really expensive. We need to buy some more diplomats. Get ready for this conflict. We also need more money so that we can actually get the press claims thing. But let's see. So before the monthly ticks over, we think it's our economic base is 105. Let's see what it thinks it is next month. Okay, so it's the next month. Our tax base drops from 75 to 55. Our economic base only drops by 10. So that's the crazy thing, right? We lost, that was 25%, sorry, 33% of our tax base, about 33% of our population as well, that just left the country. And our economic base moved by 10%. 10%. It's crazy. It's crazy. Also, seeing that wealth from subjects, inconsequential on economic base. Also worth noting, look at all these loyal subjects because we're actually spending on Diplo spending. But sending 6 so we get all these loyal subjects so they can pay us 1, not ideal, but it meaning that we can get loyal subjects when we're at war, when we need them, is really good. Really, really good for sure. Now, I think the thing is, I mean, taxing these guys is going to do nothing. Taxing these guys is really not going to have much effect. And we're almost ready for a parliament, right? Yeah, this month. Okay. So yeah, trying to get the nobles as loyal as we can. Are there any privileges we want to give? Look at that, they're under 50%. Nice. That's good progress. That's very good progress. Are there any privileges we actually want to give them? Obviously, we won't do it yet, but that is tough. That is tough. 10-to-1 opinion ratio, and they get smaller levy, all for 0.05 centralization. Interesting. No, I don't think we need any of these. These all seem bad. Yeah, no, these are all horrible. This one is okay. But maybe later, once we have enough free subjects, we'll see. But yeah, so we'll get a parliament going, and yeah, we are in a financial bind. We could make more money if we weren't buying stability. We have enough stability right now. We could I mean, we're also spending a bunch of yeah, let's try. I'm going to go through and try and make some less unprofitable trades. This one is okay because you get it from importing and exporting now, right? Yes, good. So let's try and make some trades with Genoa that are less unprofitable. Make some money that way. There really is no like the interface that you want to set this up is something that shows you at the same time all the goods in Constantinople and all the goods in Genoa and their balances, and then you can pick which ones to trade in which direction. They just didn't. It seems like they made the system of how institutions would spread through trade and didn't think about the fact that the player would need to engage with it, and how would the player engage with it, and how tedious it is for the player to engage with it, because it really is a little tedious. I guess what I can do is just screenshot this and then put that on another monitor and then go and look at the Genoa market and go like, okay, have they got any surpluses that we have shortfalls? And I'm just going like item by item. But it really feels like there must be a better way to do this. There's got to be a better way, and so on. So yeah, there is a way to make money. It's to export slaves to Genoa. I mean, I don't really want to be doing this because that means there are slaves leaving this market, which obviously they're pops. Pops are valuable. But I think given our dire financial straits and the fact that we really like getting this huge growth, nice, and now banking has spread to Genoa, that is, obviously, from the province next to it, that's going to be really good. Now let's see what we can do with this parliament. Yes, right now we do not have enough support to get a second law passed, but what we're going to do is we're getting rid of ICTA tax farming, which is going to give us more RGO size, faster RGO expansion, and more centralization. But most importantly, it gets rid of, what is it, state law? No, religious law? Yeah. Gets rid of what we used to have, which is this -5. So now, as that goes away during the parliament, we increase the ability to get a higher nobility happiness, and we might just be able to get enough nobility happiness, because there's this big reduction here, that we might be able to do that. The other thing we could do, little hardcore, we could change the type of parliament we have. Okay, we can't actually, not right now. We'll do that next time. But we should change to the one that allows burghers in and gets rid of this -10% on the nobles. I think that would be good. It does cost 50 legitimacy, which is a price we can really ill afford to pay right now, but I think it's got to be done. We should also probably reduce our minting, but like, I mean, we need it is the thing. This is tough. Anatolian scholars, 10 noble estate satisfaction equilibrium. Is tough, but that's a lot of centralization, and we're stacking it on top of other centralization buffs we've already got. I think we do need it. I honestly think maybe decentralization is better now, but I think we do need it, which does start to hurt our noble loyalty. Yeah, trending to 46, which is unfortunate. Are these trending down? Okay, at least it looks like they steadily tick down. But that's good, but it does put us in a spot of bother. What are we at on revokes? 140 stability. Okay, so it's now literally possible to revoke these privileges. That's good. That's good at least. Okay, so we're not going to get a second thing through this parliament because we're not going to be able to get their happiness up. That being the case, maybe I'll start going back to handing out some more stuff to the other estates. Ho ho! Perhaps we can. Yes, we can. Okay, and we support traditional economy, which I'm fine with. Lose a bit of stability because we're currently very pro traditional economy. So, and we're not building stuff right now. So, boom, which means we get another law change in. What shall we do? Central Council, or is there something that gives or powerful harem? Don't want to be hurting our what am I trying to say? Don't want to be hurting our noble loyalty that much more right now. We could go, what are we on right now? Harem court? Yeah. I think we have to stay on this so that we can keep doing the marriages with lowborns. But now that this sucks, I wouldn't really want to move off it anyway. I mean, this would be good. Rural parliaments. Does this mean they have to be... If it can be called in a rural settlement. We don't have to. Okay, so we do want to go to itinerant court probably eventually, because proc speed through land is... That is beefy modifier. But yeah, we want to be doing administrative. This gives decentral and food production, which obviously is not that useful. And we can get this instead. More centralization and cabinet efficiency, which means more ability to push things. Also, we did a communalism privilege on the clergy. So let's do that. Nice. Nice. What are we looking at on centralization now? 0.55 with no push. No cabinet push. That's pretty darn good. That's pretty darn good. Losing money, unfortunately. What happened there? Oh, yeah, food is hurting us. Food is really hurting us. It's mostly, well, it's kind of spread out, honestly. We did just get a bunch of cities and then give away the land around the cities. You know what? Yeah, I mean, there's a privilege on our... Here, this is buffed depending on how many special provinces we own, but we should give away this city at least. We can't afford to be paying for that food, basically. So now it's here. Yeah, we should hold on to the rest of this, but yeah, trying to invest in some RGOs would not be the worst thing. Oh, of course, sorry, the money's down right now because we're buying back up to 100 legitimacy. Fine. This is going to kind of hurt, but I think we should do urban development grants. The sooner we get that monthly development and 50% burger power. I mean, yeah, in the short term, it's good. In the long term, it's very scary. Has really annoyed them, but we're still in Parliament. We've got a couple more months of nice big upticks, so that's okay. One of the few times I think this is actually worth it. I'll take 1% cost of court for monthly literacy, doubled monthly literacy growth across the whole country, because I think we actually have room to grow on literacy. If we look at these guys, for example, what are they at? Yeah, 5% literacy. They could be 10. So getting him in. Sorry, it's 10 times monthly literacy growth. Jesus, teach them all to read. Jolly good. So very easy war here against the coalition, which includes Rome. So we do this. We take some land off them. I don't know if we manage to get Constantinople this war. We probably don't, just because sieging it is such a pain. You know, I don't know if you've heard of these things, but there's some big walls over here. So that will be good. Good to go after, at least. Should we have a fort on Izmit? Let's win this war before we take down the fort on Izmit, because we're spending a lot of money on that. I'm really trying to min-max taxes right now. So just trying to get as much out of the nobles as we can while their opinion ticks back up. They're not so happy about the whole city development grants thing. But yeah, let's get into this war. Should be pretty easy. Hopefully we can steal some cash, a relatively large amount of cash off the old Byzantines. We'll see. Right, yeah, you know, high inflation and, rival warlord, interesting. And the Black Death, not good. That's why part of why I haven't been building any trade buildings. And it's also, I'm glad I didn't build those roads, because that will make the Black Death spread worse. And we definitely can't afford to build any plague resistance buildings. So that's not ideal. I would love to procure remedies. Oh, I forgot about this. Yes. You get... Oh, no, this is traditionalist. Is it this one that gives communalism? Doesn't one of them give communalism? They remove that. Nuts. These don't get it, do they? No. Aww. I really thought we got some communalism out of this. That's a shame. Well, we'll see what we can do about that. This war is almost over. We are starving some levies to death to do it, but we're getting there. We can't cross the strait because we haven't built a fleet yet. But that's fine. We can just take some stuff from this side, and they do indeed have a reasonable amount of cash that we can yoink from them. Something like this will be fine. Ooh, we could take over the market center. Would I like to do that? Interesting. No, I think we wanted to stay in Constantinople, because obviously we're going to own Constantinople in the fullness of time, and yeah, probably in the next war. Nice. One of our subjects managed to get across here and get us some slaves. Beautiful. That was weird. Well, it changed again. What the hell? Okay, so we just got the land we had occupied off Byzantium, and that war insta-ended. Do we even have a truce with you? We do not. Okay, interesting. Well, that's kind of bad, but kind of good, because we just got the land for no antagonism, but we also didn't get to steal their money, which is kind of how I was hoping of bankrolling this whole thing. How's the Black Death going, by the way? It hasn't got to us yet. It's still spreading. I could really do with this. What do we need for this? I have to have a neighboring country with it present, so I should keep checking. I think it only spreads on the monthly tick, but community land reforms, what's this? Hey, more communalism. 20s happiness on them. Well, we would definitely like the communalism. This would save us 6 months of pushing it. But I would also love, I mean, 10, yeah, no, you know what? 10 noble satisfaction, 2.5 stability for an extra 6, 7, maybe 8 months of pushing. That's okay. That's okay, because now we can go in here and we can say, hey, burgers, congratulations. Let's do maybe innovative. I think we are pushing innovative. Yeah, I'm pushing up to 20 on innovative. It's a lot of power. I'm torn on how much we should give the burgers, knowing that eventually it's their privileges we're going to have to revoke, and it's going to hurt. But I think getting the ball rolling early by crushing the nobles is probably worth, you know, some pain later on fighting back against these guys. We definitely don't want to give them trade monopolies. I'm looking for, yeah, I don't want to hurt us here. I guess we'll start, I mean, do we want to start working on capital economy? It's already, yeah, I guess we can do something like this without too much downside. We get the trade capacity. 1 to 5 is an okay ratio on satisfaction. What's that going to put nobles back down to? 41. Yeah, so being able to get that reform in early, I think, is worth, you know what? Should I be doing recovery efforts? We're about to get the Black Death. Yeah, forget the recovery efforts for a second. Go back to integrating stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure whether our expansion strategy was good. Maybe I should have been just kind of keeping it chill while we wait for the Black Death to show up and then grabbing everything during the Black Death, but I don't know. This seemed to work fairly well. New rival. We can just re-rival these guys, but they're probably not a threat. France is a threat. Oh, we can't replace a rival in a war. Fair enough. Well, so what is this telling me? Just one possible rival? Well, I'm not trying to replace the rival when I'm at war. I'm trying to make a new one. All right, well, we'll do it at the end of the war. No worries. We've almost won this siege. Okay, and now they're being called back in because they're allies still. Interesting. Well, this could kind of work out to our advantage. Oh, well. The jank of this war was kind of manageable, but now I can't take any land because I need to take the war goal Adin first. I already own that because you bugged out, because you added Annex Revolta, and it's causing all kinds of merriment. Can I subjugate them? I can't. Well, that's interesting. I could move this. You know what? I probably do want to do that. A market here would give better access to my bit of Anatolia, and then we can have Tbilisi handle this area. So we probably do that. My plan to fix this is I tag switch Trebizond. I use the console to give them this province, and then I take it, thereby taking the war goal. And that, sorry, tag back to the Ottomans, and then in the war piece I take it, because obviously this is bugged, so I don't feel bad about fixing the bug. So bigger fight, but sent them packing. They attempted to cross over to our side of the strait, and we taught them the error of their ways. Took some reasonable casualties. Our men were on pretty low morale, having just marched over from Trebizond. But Byzantium is now a secondary participant, which means by having Trebizond's war enthusiasm tank, which I have no doubt that it should, because they should be getting... Your enthusiasm is... Trebizond is making gains. No, you aren't. Just because they joined. They were already in it, you fools. Is that... Oh, no, okay. I thought that was a Georgian noble revolt within a Georgian noble revolt. What's happening to the Black Death, by the way? Okay, we can now isolate the country. So do we want to do this? 10 stability. Burghers and peasants get annoyed. This doesn't seem worth it, honestly. what we want to do is procure remedies, but we don't have the cash. Maybe I should pay some money for this. But now that it's not as good, I mean, 7 stability. I don't think it's worth it. I think we're just going to tank the Black Death, and it's going to go just swimmingly, I'm sure. Let's see if we can cross this strait, if they let us. They did indeed let us, but this siege would take an age without cannons. So I don't think that's happening. Can I walk past it? I can't, but I can try and cross over here. Yeah, we're not doing that siege without cannons. Let's just go and siege down the rest of them, because they've got like no other forts, right? Because they can't afford them. We're going to take a lot of slaves in these... Oh, hello. Can I stop in time? I can. Good. We're going to take a lot of slaves by raiding across here, which is going to be good, because it means when we do then take this land, it takes substantially less AE. Oh, no, we couldn't stop in time. Darn, now I've gone the north. Still winning? Yeah. Eesh. Bad casualties, though. Did we have some pros in that army? Just some camp followers. I didn't even realize we had any camp followers. Nice. Yeah, I mean, theoretically... but they're probably not a primary participant, are they? How do you tell? I guess I look at the AE required to take land specifically. I have to take this. How much AE is this causing? It will be the larger peace treaty demands. We are the victims here, plus 50. What does that mean? Oh, right, it's them. I see. It's because we're taking it from them. This does not appear to say anywhere that they're not primary participants. Unless it's this, but I don't think so. Okay, yeah, cool. Well, I mean, maybe we make this one of the big wars against Byzantium then. Because we could, we could take all this. We could take a huge, huge chunk out of Byzantium here. It seems good. I mean, this is a massive aggressive expansion hit. Where would we not take? Maybe that area we're going to struggle to... Oh, hang on, they're never going to accept this because of fracturing. I'm going to have to not leave them too fractured. Is that too fractured? Apparently it is. We do kind of need a connection to this new area. But we can make it a subject, maybe. Something like this. We'd probably have to do it negotiating with Trebizond, though, because against Byzantium themselves, I don't think we're going to get enough war score without ticking to make them accept something like this. But let's see what happens when we occupy this area. You what? Now Byzantium are the war leaders. What is going on in this conflict? Did you become a subject? No? No? What the heck is going on? All right, well, we can... Oh no, now if I... God's sake. Now if I peace out Trebizond, it's gonna say you have to take this and you can't take any land off them. So I'm gonna have to take Trebizond and tag Byzantium and give them this province. All right, we can do that. So yeah, I think I do want the market center. I think having the market center closer here, I've been coming around to the idea that maybe slightly smaller markets are the way to go. And it's going to be ages before we can get any land over here that we personally own. So this land here is not valuable to us. So moving that over here seems good. Cool. And then if you peace out Trebizond, despite the fact that the Byzantium was the war leader, the war ends. I'm glad I saved. What the hell? Some people tell me that they play this game in Iron Man mode, by the way, which I find very funny. In the same way that I find, like, maybe some people are... What's an example that's not too risque? I can't think of one, to be honest. Don't play the game in Iron Man. It's not ready. It's too bugged. And this is not the mods. The mods have nothing to do with this. This says Byzantium is the war leader. If I peace out Trebizond like this, it ends the freaking war. Okay, finally figured all that out. This looks like an okay peace deal. I want their money so we can pay off our loans, and a big chunk of them. This, because once we have a foothold in Anatolia, we can start using the press claims thing on people in the Balkans. Sorry, once we have a foothold in the Balkans, we can start using it on people in the Balkans. It's going to cause a lot of aggressive expansion. 120, but just kidding. Actually, it's 110. And this, I think, will put Byzantium, Epirus, Athens, Theodora, Achaia, Serbia. I mean, Serbia's a little troubling. Maybe we should ease off a little bit so that we don't get Serbia in. There we go. This works. And hey, that leaves room for war reps. Pay me some war reps too. Fine. This looks good, I think. Or maybe some land down here. Serbia probably doesn't care about this, do they? Let's see. Serbia, they just do. All right, let's do this. Take their city. We can start trying to get some naval connections in there. Well, is that worth doing? It's not much antagonism. Are we in a good position to take this stuff? Yeah, pretty good. I mean, that just causes is going to go away. Oh, lack of rivals is causing some. All right, fine. I'll rival France. The tooltip says I can't do it, but it turns out I can. All right, that brings the antagonism way down. Nice. Is there any point taking that city? Are we realistically, we're not going to be able to get... Oh, God, look at these reductions, man. Yeah, capped at min, 10%. That's funny. Oh, they raised the min. It used to be like 3%. Cool, so we don't need to push more diplomatic reputation. We're already at the minimum. Jesus. Maybe I'll just do... Will you say no to this? Maybe we'll just take a bit more over here. What are the RGOs over here? Some beeswax. Some wheat would be kind of nice, although it's already in our market, so it doesn't really make much difference, the price of food. Let's do something a bit more like this. I think we'll be able to get better control if we do something like this. And yeah, Serbia, not in the coalition. Still giving us money. Still giving us war reps. Yeah. All right. Boom. Peace. Peace at last. And a whole bunch of money, which we can use to pay down virtually all of our debt. Hell yes. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. And now, obviously, we have a foothold, which means we're going to be in a great position to push in. We can seek relations with Byzantium again. Yeah, sure. Sounds good. So we will give away some land. Are you loyal? Probably not, right? Yeah, you're not the most happy with us, but you're not that unhappy. Who are you to be so annoyed? Why are you so grumpy? Interesting. Yeah, this land, I mean, let's see what we can get here. We'll be able to get a little bit of proximity. There's a crossing. I mean, there's a straight crossing, so we'll get some like that. And yeah, Black Death is very much ongoing. We probably should put the court in isolation. Is there a communalism? Is it this one? No, that's traditional economy. Segregate the infected. There it is. There's the communism. Okay, yeah, do that. We're going to have some serious stability issues here, and we do have to move the court into hiding, I think. I really don't want all my family dying of the plague. So, but there we go. Up 1.08 communalism per month, which means we are going to be able to max that, obviously. Phenomenal. Bring everybody home. In fact, hang on. No. Take everybody into the most remote part of the country we can. Let's try and avoid some of our people getting the plague. And the coalition's disbanded. Nice. We will want to improve relations with Serbia, for sure. And let's stop improving with people that we've got to 200, so we're not wasting the diplomats. Oh, that's number 6. Beautiful. I would like the stability, please, because we're going to be able to get 100 communalism even without it. Sweet. Keep selling those slaves. Keep getting that. Beautiful. Oh, they've got professional armies. Hell yes. Thank you, Genoa. Thank you. That's going to be phenomenal. You get all 3 institutions really quick. Very nice. Okay. And 13 years into the game, with a little bit of help from our friend the Black Death, there we go. 100 communalism, which means we can now start looking at what our next one should be. And we have some temporary centralization modifiers. So I think it should probably be centralization. And we'll start working on that now. But with 100 communalism, we are now looking at 85 stability to revoke a privilege, which means if we can get up to 50, then we can knock it down And we can start making some real impact here. We have had some pretty nasty modifiers. We are on caught in isolation, enforced plague measures, segregate the infected. You know, the estates are not happy with the current situation. Don't get me wrong. But in just a few months, we can pay off our last bit of debt, and then we're going to get inflation under control, because 40% is a little high. It doesn't really matter that much. It increases army maintenance, I believe. Good Lord. Look how many tooltips I have to go down to show that. But yeah, it does increase our army maintenance. But we're not building buildings right now. We're not building new troops, really. So it's not a huge difference. And big day. Oh, hello. First amongst equals. Yeah, you know what? I will pay 5 legitimacy, which will cost a lot of money to buy back. But I will pay 5 legitimacy for 20 noble loyalty, because I can use that 20 noble loyalty to go ahead and grant some stuff. Now, do I want to go as far as giving like guild investments? I think I do, you know. I think I do. What about treasury rights? 5 for 50 again. I think we do though. I think we're going hard on this. So this brings them back down to 55. And maybe another peasant one. Any more peasant stuff we want, really? Free subjects, but I don't want the levy size reduction. I want to make them happier so that we can tax them more if possible. We can do this once we get full centralization. This can be somewhere that we spend it, because the peasant enfranchisement is nice. And likewise with this. It would really buff up their power though, which is not superb. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, we definitely give them this one once we have full centralization. If we can get to full. If we can get to 88, I can probably call that good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here I can really bring myself to give them. I mean, trad economy, it's just not what we're looking for. We'll definitely give them that later. And probably this, because conciliatory is going to be nice for us, but that's only once we're really powerful. Okay, it's probably going to be another one here. Maybe it is guild economy. I mean, getting to capital economy is going to be tough. There's a lot we need to change before that's going to be possible. Maybe we just give them this just for the happiness, because I mean we want their loyalty high. No, you know what? Give them guild investments. Get me the innovative, but most importantly, hurt the noble power by. So we've just put 2 privileges. Let's see, at the end of the month, 47. I don't remember if it calculates immediately. Yeah, I mean 1 extra percent down to 84 now. That's not that much, is it? But a ghost ship. Jesus Christ, burn that for sure. Okay, we're working on centralization. We are going to bring our debt situation under control very soon. We should definitely have someone working on getting our legitimacy back. It's so expensive to pay for legitimacy. Okay, we're on track. We're on track. The legislative reforms are ongoing. The estates are being brought in. And this is the end of episode 1. I let episode 1 go way longer than I expected. We're going to go back to the standard kind of 1-hour episodes from here on in. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so very much for watching. See you next time. Hope you enjoyed. And it's me from the future. Don't worry about this, but I just wanted to chip in to remind you that channel members can watch the whole series right now. All episodes fully bingeable. Thank you very much for supporting. If you choose to, no pressure. Now it's the real end of the episode.